Ukacha mama wa amatengazaje kusesa bakomo pamaibaje.
Ukacha mama
Early morning
amatengazaje
kusesa bakomo lamaibaje.
Magolo wali amuya mikira
akutirine lero mwana mene mwana wanzeru.
Magolo wali amuya mikira
akutirine lero mwana mene mwana wanzeru. Line uyu line lero mwana mene mwana wanzeru.
Agile gogo wana madingo zamu ya mikira kudina madingo mwana mene mwana wanze. Agile gogo wana madingo zamu ya mikira
kudina madingo mwana mene
mwana wanze.
Simuku na mago
Tawizina
ni malota ine bambo wanga tandisi enda
salandeka. Tawizina
mwe ni malota ine bambo wanga tamwalira ndatsalandeka.
Gondo mama gondo une mama mwe gondo mama chalamanda
tafera moenda we. Gondo mama gondo une mama mwe gondo mama chalamanda tafera moenda we.
Nangomba mbiliyo tumaona lero. Nangomba mbiliyo tumaona lero. Agidesi aimbaye zogoma tumaona lero. Maiwe Napolo wachabe
Malizendi Buffalo soldier Buffalo to America. Buffalo soldier Buffalo to America.
When I was a young boy,
I dreamed to the in America.
When I was a young boy,
young boy, I dreamed to the in America. Oi 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 oi. Kashigena so agide. Oi 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 oi. If I had much money, I go to see in America. If I had much money, I go to see in America. Oi 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 oi. Omaliza gike oi
oi oi oi
oi oi oi oi.
Well, lovely listeners, lovely people of the world, people of Chicago, you're welcome to a very, very special edition of the Progressive Mind Show. We are going to be having a part 2, which is a continuation of Ghana Goes to the Ballot that we started this past Wednesday. Tomorrow is the day that Ghana goes to vote to elect a president or to elect a president that will lead the country for the next 4 years. We after the conversation, it was very interesting the first time, and so some of the audience and reached out and said we have to do a second one just because tomorrow is a day, and so we can also have the chance to speak on some of the things that we were not able to touch on due to time. So this evening we're going to be having the representative from the NPP community or the NPP party here in the United States. We'll also have a representative of the NDC here in the United States who will be joining us to engage you and as to who we should decide, who the country of Ghana should decide to lead the nation. We are going to look at trust. Who do we trust? John Mahama or His Excellency President Nana Akufo-Addo, who is the incumbent president? We're still waiting on one of our guests to join us. The NPP, I must say that the NPP guest, Daniel AMPONSAH, is already here in the studios. We're waiting for the NDC folks to join us. As we wait, please share the feed, invite a friend to join us in this conversation. We'll be taking some musical interlude and try to play some of the party communique promo materials that we have while we wait for our second guest. So just chill, enjoy the music, give us your feedback. Please keep sharing as you're watching us. We are live on Facebook and on YouTube. My name is Senna, aka Alinko. I'm the host of the Progressive Minds. We shall be right back.
Freedom is coming tomorrow. Get ready, mama, prepare for your freedom. Freedom is coming tomorrow. Get ready, mama, prepare for your freedom. Freedom is coming tomorrow. Yeah, oh, you will listen to mama. Yeah, oh, you will listen to mama. Yeah, oh, you will listen to mama. Freedom is coming tomorrow.
Let me hold you, let me hold you, let me go. Pretty baby, let me hold you, let me hold you, let me hold you. In the way you be bombastic, girl, the way you do, you be elastic. Baby, do you be fantastic? You be fantastic. Baby, you be do, you be elastic. Baby, you be simply bombastic, fantastic, you be fantastic. You the girl for mine, you the girl for mine, you be 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 the girl for mine.
As we approach the last days to the elections, political tricksters will spew so much propaganda. Just know that they have an agenda. Remember, you need to stay focused because this election is an election of records. Every great leader suffers vilification, insults, and people say outright lies about them. But truth always stands tall in the midst of falsehood. They said Nana Addo was not a lawyer. They lied. He was violent. Another lie. He was arrogant. Blatant lie. These days of technology, everything is possible. Be careful not to fall prey to propaganda. We need better political environment for our future generation. We do not need politicians who know the truth, yet they will spin them and present them in the form of lies. This election, vote wisely. Do not be swayed by political tricksters and spinners. Vote Nana Akufo-Addo, Odasoro, #1.
Mahama, run up your work money. Mahama, 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 Organamatu, Mahani, Sukuwadai, Hospital, Aquapapa. Yebediye, Yehumbakoye. Ma, 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 ma. Oh, 1 million jobs, mama. Obabe yo. Obeye, obeye. Oganamatu. Missy Alukoluko. Alukoluko. Translate. Eyezu, eyeza, NDC, miawezo. Alada nizongo, kwa kamami, ingelezo, kana bebia.
Ayikoya putu, sotupu, mahani, mahani, mahina, mahina, anu hurkia.
Translate.
Atemuri, inna anu nigira. Ayuri, inna sabola ye.
Number two, economy, galamse, youth employment, more jobs, Ghana yede, boto munye, translate.
Ratu, mahama ratu. Ejo, urta,
Oganamatu,
mojos,
number 2,
big push. Mahama, ayikoya putu, sotupu, mahani, mahina, anu hurkia, ayikuya.
7th December, Tuabana Mama Hama, Miss Now, the Poto, Miss Now, Mama, Oganamatu, Mahani, Suku Adai, hospitals, Aqua Papa, Sagana Beya, Yebediye, Yahumbakoye, ma,
And it's yeah.
Toma Mahama, Oganamatu, Sika Baba, Mahama, Sahoto Baba,
Ejo,
translate.
ayikuya. Sari kuli, kali kuli. Wale golele, wale.
To ensure providing nationwide health coverage, access to healthcare is a right and not a privilege.
We have applied technology to deliver blood products through drone services and have used *929# to wipe out long queues that have choked our NHI district offices, all in pursuit of just NHI card renewal. This is the power of digital infrastructure, having the capability to clear with the texting of a code, a problem that the Mahama NDC couldn't clear in 8 good years. Indeed, the theme for the 2016 manifesto was change, an agenda for jobs. And it came to pass that 90,696 health personnel were recruited in the first term of the Akufo-Addo government. Never in the history of this country have so many people been offered so much opportunity to serve in the health sector in so short a time.
2024 more for Nana. 2020.
Hello, welcome. Sorry about that. We had a low hold up because the system didn't switch quickly and I wasn't ready for camera, but I am ready now. It is 12th December, December 6th, 2020. December 6th, 2020. Tomorrow is going to be a big day in the history of Ghana. And we are imploring the whole world to come and witness history that Ghana is going to make. If it happens that the NDC, National Democratic Party, wins, it will be the first time that a woman would have assumed the position of a vice president. And so that is one of the history. Also, we know that the democratic process of Ghana had been peaceful over since 1992. For a long time now, Ghana had experienced a smooth, peaceful transition of power or governance. And so they always say, people call us the beacon of democracy in Africa or sub-Saharan Africa. All the names and all the good accolades will not amount to anything if tomorrow does not go well. So we are hoping that it goes well for everybody in Ghana, Ghanaians abroad, and the entire world. Ghana is the eye of Africa or West Africa, I believe. And so we got to safeguard our democracy. This evening, we would have representative of both parties in the US to help continue the conversation of who do we trust to run Ghana for the next 4 years. In the studios, we have Daniel AMPONSAH, who is ever so ready. He is a member of the communication team for the USA. Is hopefully my brother Daniel, my brother KOBBY. Okay, KOBBY is not ready yet. We will wait till KOBBY looks like KOBBY is trying to get himself ready. Okay, KOBBY. Okay, great. We see you. Okay, so KOBBY is ready. So share the feed if you just joined us. We're live, of course, on Facebook and on YouTube. It is Progressive Minds on Facebook, the Progressive Minds Show on YouTube. Please go ahead and share the feed and know that this evening is going to be a wonderful, wonderful discussion. Please engage us as we try to go through this. But not ladies. Today is all gentlemen, right? So, gentlemen, you're welcome to the discussion this evening. I am very honored to have you in the studios. Daniel AMPONSAH, you are not a stranger, so but welcome again, Daniel.
Yeah, thank you, Alinko. Thank you for having us, and let me say hello to KOBBY. KOBBY, thank you for coming, and it's great having you.
Oh, thank you too. Thank you for coming, and it's a pleasure finally meeting you. I've heard you several times on other radio stations.
Oh,
and,
thank God.
And it's a pleasure meeting you and finally putting a face to the voice.
Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Now that the pleasantries have been shared, let's exchange. Let's quickly look at who would better be a president for Ghana in terms of economic development. And I will always do the honor to the party in the incumbent party, the incumbent government, whose party is the NPP, whose representative is here, Daniel AMPONSAH, to tell us. And so we'll do this 5 minutes each. Okay, you know, 5 minutes. Go ahead and tell us why you believe that Akufo-Addo is the best person to lead the economy of Ghana, to lead the country of Ghana, based on his economic achievement or his economic impetus. And so please go ahead, Daniel. And then when you're done, we'll have KOBBY respond to that, and KOBBY will have his turn for tell us why John Mahama is the best. So go ahead. Again, let's remind listeners that please share the feed now on Facebook. My name is Ike Alinko. Go ahead, Daniel.
Yeah, Alinko, thank you. And thank you, listeners and viewers, wherever you are watching us. Good evening. And it's always a pleasure to come your way and to share our country, Ghana. I mean, we are two brothers, NPP, NDC. I mean, we are the two main political parties that are seeking power to, implement our vision for our country and to see the transformation of our country. And so at this point, it is the NPP, which is the governing, party, and that is seeking re-election. And then we believe that we are the best vehicle to transform our country, Ghana, and bring prosperity to, all corners of our country, because we believe that Ghana shouldn't be at this stage. We should be gone far. We should have gone far past where we are now. But we believe that for our opponents, which is our brothers, the NDC, we've been clawing a lot of the time. We need to be walking, and that is why we are so much passionate about seeing that we will win power and implement our economic policies. What are some of the policies we intend to implement, and why do we think that the NDC is not the best vehicle at this point in time? The NDC, given our history, is the most successful political party in terms of a party that has stayed in power for a long time. They have won many elections compared to the NPP, and they have governed our country for a very long period of time, just by default of our history. They had 8 years military rule, 11 years military rule under the late Jerry John Rawlings, and then they had 8 years on top of that, a total of 19 years uninterrupted governance. If you have 19 years uninterrupted governance, it should be a time that any serious political party should be transforming their country and transforming it for good. That is not to say they didn't do something within that 19 years, but we thought that the pace of development, the pace of growth was just not encouraging. And the NPP thought that was a lot of time wasted. It is a time that we had, just like the Singapores, the Malaysians, the South Koreas had, and transformed their country for good. Today, those countries are not classified as developing countries. They are classified as middle-income countries or high-earning income countries. And so we think that, I mean, we've lacked a lot, and it is because we believe that the capacity to deliver on, the economic front that will give you the impetus to be able to transform our country has always been lacking from our friends, the NDC. So what do we intend to do? We intend that at this current, time in our history as a country, we have identified some key areas that we think that is going to be key for our development, because we are in the 21st century, and we believe that knowledge in the 21st century is the gold mine. Ghana, fortunately, we have a lot of resources. We are a resource-rich country. We have cocoa, gold. Talk about any mineral in the world, you will get it in Ghana. We have very good arable lands all over we are blessed. We are a country that God has given us everything that we need. All we need is leadership. Committed leadership, transformative leadership, and dedicated leadership. And this is what we intend to do. In the 21st century, we know that having those resources, gold, cocoa, is not enough. It's just a necessary condition. The sufficient condition is knowledge-based economy. A knowledge-based economy is where everybody has the opportunity to have education and has some basic skills, technical skills, and is prepared to contribute to the economy. And that is why our agenda is to provide free senior high school to everybody, so that at minimum, everybody will have some minimum education that can help them contribute to this economy, so that nobody is left behind. And we are doing that to make sure that money does not become, anything that, hampers anybody from enjoying this, opportunity. So we are taking the very biggest, obstacle to education, which is cost. And that is why we are so much passionate about free education, because we believe that would be the bedrock upon which all the things that we are trying to put together, we can be able to help let the people of Ghana be what I call, command the heights of the economy, and then hold this economy and not just leave it to foreigners because we don't have the expertise. So on that basis, we are also trying to get what we call the national ID card. The national ID card for a country like Ghana, it is surprising to know that we do not have a national identification card that identifies any Ghanaian. In the era of Kufuor, some 8 years ago, President Kufuor passed the law for this process to kick in. The NDC 8 years, having spent 8 years in power, did not take this process to its full logical conclusion. And so we have come back and we are trying to get that process going. Thankfully, we've got it on the ground, and we've registered about 50 million eligible Ghanaians. We can identify them, and we are providing an electronic card that will be linked to almost all institutions and be able to identify any Ghanaian everywhere. On top of that, this national ID card, we're getting the biometric details of every Ghanaian. So wherever you are, we can identify you. We are seeking to build a digital economy, a cashless economy, such that people will be able to seamlessly, undertake business transactions, and that would propel our economy and, prepare us and put us in a different sphere, so that we can manage this economy having data, because data is the engine. You need data to be able to make sound decisions, and every 21st century serious country or company is going that direction. So we believe that we have the men, we have the capacity, we have the competence, and each time we've been in power, we've been able to revive our economy, we've been able to bring it up to speed, we've been able to engender confidence from outside, and people have seen us credible and have always prepared to work with us and always prepared to take us, on any time we're on. For instance, we've had 5 manufacturing, companies. Car assembly used not to be the thing that Ghana is known for. As I speak to you now, we have Nissan, Toyota, we have Sonatrach, we have, Volkswagen. These are international reputed companies that are, putting up assembling plant in Ghana to assemble cars, because we also want Ghana to be the manufacturing hub and then be able to export to our neighboring countries or some of the African countries, and then use it as a strategic location. Because look at the location of Ghana. It's said that it's easy access to Europe, it's easy access to Asia. So if we're able to build that, economy that it's sustaining and has all the macroeconomic indicators right, companies should naturally find Ghana as the place to do business. And we believe that we have the men, the capacity, and the policy to be able to do that compared to our brothers in the NDC.
Thank you so much, Daniel, for giving us 5 minutes of your time. It went past a little past 5 minutes, but that's okay. Telling us why, in a nutshell, we should believe that Nana Akufo-Addo, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, is the right man to lead Ghana for the next 4 years when it comes to the economy of the country, when it comes to economic development. KOBBY, you have 3 minutes to respond to him. Then I'll give you your 5 minutes to go ahead and actually, because of time, so we'll give you 2 minutes. Everybody will have 2 minutes to respond, and then you'll have. KOBBY, we can.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Mr. Alinko, and thank you, Mr. AMPONSAH. I've listened to you, and just the only thing that came to my mind when you were talking was, why are we just repeating everything that we promised the Ghana people 4 years ago? All the things that you said were promised to Ghanaians. As a matter of fact, Ghanaians were told that Mahama was so incompetent that when you guys come in, you were going to transform the country within the first 4 years. But what are we seeing? We heard about Yetisikaso. So here has there been a change? We're talking about free education with this red, blue, green color thing that is going on. Okay, it's simply failing. And what I believe NDC had wanted to do and would do is continue the progressive free SHS. Now, by progressive, if you just jump in there and start free education without schools for the children.
Okay, so that means that, KOBBY, you are getting to your 5 minutes because your 2 minutes is passed in response to him. So you can continue from there and have your 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you. You know, so what happened? The question is, who is the best leader, or who is the best person to lead the country? Economically, look at the track record of John Mahama. John Mahama's 4 years compared to and John Mahama came in and promised school buildings. Did he produce them? Did he deliver?
Well, we don't.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. He promised 200 school buildings. They were all started. By the time he left office, 46 of them had been completed. 71 of them were at stages of completion, which one would have thought that the present government would have completed them to reduce the pressure on what is going on. So these green color, blue color, red color thing would not hamper the education of our children. But what is happening? They were never continued. And these school buildings are still stuck in the bushes without the government touching them. But still, we are touting free education. Where do you expect these kids to go to school? I was in Ghana last November, and I was talking to some of the kids. Asked them, when are they going back to school? They came home around the beginning of November, and they are expecting to go back in March. They are going to stay home for 4 good months. Do you think these kids would remember what they had learned before they left? Okay, but with this progressive thing, the shift system, as at least I remember, was championed by Okovanda-Poy, was kind of gradually being phased out because we had the school buildings to put them in. Okay, so when we talk about free education, it's something which is already in the Constitution that every Ghanaian child should benefit from. But you see, if we had the economic push to go for it, we would have finished the schools and everybody would have free education. But progressively, we built the schools and we put them in, and within a period of time, there will be enough schools for these kids to go in and study. So when we rush these kids to this free education thing, which is not helping, I don't know, but I'll leave it up to the people to judge for themselves. My brother has talked about so many things. He talked about economic programs they had put together and all that. I'm not going to go there because that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to paint a better picture of what John Mahama did when he was in office. Remember, he was in office just a little bit over 4 years, just like our brothers here. You know, and what did he do? Did he promise hospitals? Yes. You go to Ridge Hospital, you can see it there. He promised schools. Yes. You go around the country, you can see the E-classes. He promised better road. Look at all these interchanges. Okay. So gradually, he was transforming the system just like he promised. Okay. We have these people who promised everything under the sun. One district, one factory. What happened to it? $1 million per year for each constituency. I don't know, but I haven't heard of any constituency that has received this $4 million yet. Okay, but all that we hear them talking about is toilets, toilets, toilets. Good. We are glad that they built the toilets. Okay, but did the president also say Accra was going to be the cleanest city in the whole of West Africa? Well, I don't know if you've been to Accra lately, but it's up to you to decide. Okay, we have a sanitation ministry with a budget of over $360 million. What are they doing? Accra is the filthiest city in the whole of Africa, if I should say so. Okay, so believe me, when these people get up and talk about, we promised this and we're going to do that and we're going to do it, think back, sit back and think back. And ask yourself, 4 years ago, what was promised to us? And what do we have on our hands today? We were promised better petrol prices. When John Mahama left office, it was 14 cedis a gallon. Today it's 25. Is that the better pricing that we were promised? Well, that's up to you. We promised a stronger cedi. When John Mahama left office, it was 3 cedis and 82 pesos to $1. Today, it's hovering around $6 cedis to $1. That is some of the promises they promised. Okay, we were promised one district, one factory. How many factories have we built so far? Okay, but the government so far has borrowed more than any other government in the history of this fourth republic. The question is, what have we done with the over 106 billion cedis that has been borrowed so far?
Let me let
Thank you.
my brother, you're welcome. Let me let my brother respond. 2 minutes, Daniel.
Thank you, Alinko. I think he made some points about what we promised and what we've delivered. Alinko, he himself acknowledged that, I mean, John Mahama was in the process of doing his own policies and program and didn't finish up in the 4 years. But this was a John Mahama who told us that when his, a mentor, the late President John Evans Atta Mills, to whom John Mahama was the vice president, he said that Mahama said he was the head of economic policy and he had all the opportunity, that president gave him all the opportunity to be in charge of the economy. This is a man that was a vice president under, his boss, and said he had all the leverage to be able to do all the things that you are telling us he didn't finish. So in 8 years, John Mahama and the NDC could not finish all the things that they promised the Ghanaian people. But then you are here asking us that in 4 years, why haven't you finished ours? Okay, the Ghanaian people are very much aware of, what promises we gave them and what we've been able to do. And they know where we picked this economy from. We picked an economy that in the equivalent of the US history, it's referred to as the financial crisis period. An economy an economy that was picked from an IMF bailout. Do you know what the bailout means economically and what that portends for a country when you're in that situation? We've seen the likes of Greece. When Greece went to an IMF bailout, you saw all the social turmoil that happened in that country. We have come in and we are faced with this difficult task of you having said you've invested in this and that and that, and yet our economy went into an IMF bailout. To what cost did those investment bring us? So we really needed to take this economy from that hole and stabilize the economy, and that is what we've been able to do. Otherwise, why would companies like, I told you, the Volkswagen, these are reputed international companies, the Toyota, the Nissan, international companies decide that we want to establish an assembly plant in Ghana if the economy will start promising to them. They've seen the good work that we've done. So just by their voting or by their saying that we want to locate assembling plants in Ghana, tells you that they are independent, people that are thinking through their business models and saying that, yes, this country has got something right and they're doing the right things.
Okay.
And aside that.
Wait. Let Kobby would like to respond to some of the things you just said in terms of the country going into HIPIC by the time, the country
IMF bailout.
Going to IMF bailout, basically the Ghana being in the financial crisis. Kobby, quickly, 30 seconds so that he can have his 5 minutes for the next.
Well, the only question I would like to ask my brother,
Kobby.
the only question I'd like to ask my brother Daniel is, we did go to the IMF, okay, but how strong was the economy when we left it to present? What is our debt to GDP right now? When John Mahama left office, yes, it was a paltry 51% to GDP. What is it today? Now you are boasting of a strong economy. You are boasting of things that you've put in place. But the debt to GDP today is 76.7% to GDP. Okay, the dollar that you took at 380, and you claim that you've bettered things, is now hovering at $6. So are we singing the same tune that we sang 4 years ago?
Okay, let him respond, and then based off what you just said, you're saying that the GDP today is 76.7 to GDP, right?
Yes.
And then by the time
GDP. Yeah.
Okay, so when you left government, it was
56.1.
Okay, Daniel, do you want to respond to that quickly, and then you can have the next 5 minutes?
Yes, economic indicators, like you mentioned, the debt at the time when we rebased the economy was hovering around, I think, the 52 number that he mentioned, if 56 or 52 thereabout. And today, right, but you see, that is why I always tell you that context is important, because a debt to GDP ratio in itself does not tell you the full story. Mm-hmm. We also inherited a bailout, a financial crisis, right? We had to clean the banking sector that they messed up. If they had to clean that, do you know what their debt to GDP ratio would have been? But that came into our turn. We didn't create that mess, but we had to clean that mess. And therefore, that added up to our debt as well. On top of that, the GDP numbers that he mentioned, Alinko, if you don't know, I'm giving you free information here. Go to Japan and ask what the debt to GDP ratio is. It's more than 100%. But that is not a concern for Japan. Why? Because the investment that they've made and the capacity of the economy to sustain those debt over a period of time, it's reasonable. So just picking one number and running away with it, it's not, why are we at 80% or whatever, 76% debt to GDP, but we haven't gone to the IMF bailout? And why were you at 52 and still went to the IMF bailout? So you see that there's a qualitative understanding of the number. It's not just the number in itself. The number has to be put in context.
Okay.
Daniel, let me ask you a question, please. Just please, just 1 second.
Oh no, we want to see your posture. You're sitting posture. We're not seeing you. There you go.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, Daniel, I'm going to ask you a question. If IMF was that bad, of course we all know, why did you guys then go to the IMF for $1 billion relief fund for the COVID?
Yes, so that is a good question.
That is very. I would like for you to answer it for me,
Yeah,
because
I'm going to finish up
you
and I'll
guys
answer.
have demonized IMF since you came in. So I was really blown away when you guys went for the $1 billion relief fund for the COVID-19 pandemic. So could you explain it to not me, but the general public, the people listening, why, after demonizing IMF, did you go for that $1 billion dollars?
Quickly, go ahead.
Yeah, Alinko, it's true. When we came, the IMF is a program. Like I said, government is a continuum. When you pick up a government reign from another government, you don't wish away everything that government did and say, well, it was the previous government who did it, therefore it doesn't count. The international bodies don't know that. All they know is the state of Ghana and the sovereign state of Ghana. So if you were in a program with them and another government comes over and they take over, they will have to deal with them on that program. But the good thing is that the new government will have the leverage to renegotiate some of the things that you guys might have agreed with them, because they know that it wasn't the fault of the new government for which reason you are under a program. And when we came, the IMF program that the NDC went into because of the IMF bailout, all the conditions that the IMF set for them, our NDC folks were not able to meet most of them. We had to come we had to come and meet most of the indicators or the key performance requirement that was needed to be able to exit the program. And because of that, we had to extend the program by a year just to be able to meet all those conditions and exit the program. And thankfully, we were able to do that. Now, let me answer him on the IMF 1 billion relief that we went for. That is not an IMF bailout. That is just because of the pandemic. Just like in America, you have the stimulus check from the federal government that is supporting all the states to be able to stand on their feet in the midst of this pandemic and be able to get through a problem that has been occasioned by some external shock. That was a prudent way. We were very, very proactive because we know that the pandemic was not going to spare our economy. And any finance minister or any proactive government that knows what they're doing will want to be ahead of the curve and not wait and sit down for the problem to come. So we went in ahead to get the money quickly to be able to cushion the effect of the pandemic on our economy, because we knew definitely that it was going to have an impact. That was not an IMF program or a bailout program like the NDC went into. So the IMF has different programs to support different countries. We were not bastardizing the IMF. The IMF did not ask us to come to them. It was our government that failed internally to be able to implement its own economic policy or management properly that had to go to the IMF. The IMF did not ask us to come to them. So we were bastardizing our government for failing to do what was needful and for failing to manage the economy properly and for taking us on that route that really restricts us in terms of our ability to do our own things and then always take instructions from the IMF, and then we don't get to implement our own policy the way we want to.
Okay, Daniel, thank you so much for helping us break that down. Kobby, thank you so much for helping as well. What I want us to look at is the issue of one village, one dam that was promised by this government to the people of Ghana, and also one district, one factory. No, is it one district, 1 million, one district, one factory?
One district, one factory, 1 million, one constituency.
Thank you. So we want to know if that had been implemented. Now, I want us to coin that into the general topic of infrastructure, like the building of infrastructure for the country of Ghana. Now, help us understand these promises, see if they have been implemented, and also capture some of the infrastructure when it comes to roads, hospitals, stuff that this country, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo and his government has built for this country so far, and then we can let Kobby also respond to that.
Yeah, infrastructure, like I always say, it's always good to refer to the facts. I mean, it's a country we are building, and once it's a continuum, a government will come in and inherit some, good work from the opponent, and then carry on with it. John Mahama really started some of the infrastructure projects that we are seeking to continue, just like he also inherited some from previous government. And at the time, I remember that we had issues. One of the issues we have in Ghana, it's our roads. Our roads are so terrible and so bad that even areas that produce our, most important resource like cocoa that have sustained our economy for ages do not have good road networks. And our development has been such that whenever we get proceeds from this cocoa, we rather build or develop the cities to the negligence of those communities that produce the cocoa. So there was this policy about building cocoa roads, right? If we're getting the resources from there, it is just fair that we also build their infrastructure there to help them, see the benefit of their own labor through this cocoa that they produce for the country. And this government decided that whenever they borrow the cocoa proceeds, they were going to use it for those cocoa road projects. I can tell you that most of those road projects were not done when they were leaving. And when we came, we were like, you've spent a lot of money in this sector and you haven't completed this project. We had to do an audit to see what was really going on. How come a lot of money has been pushed into this sector and these roads are not being done? And thankfully, after the audit, we've gone back and we are finishing those projects. We've budgeted for them. And I come from a cocoa growing area. I'm a cocoa farmer myself. And when you go to my, district, Samankese Road, there's a cocoa project that it's being done in that, and this government is finishing most of the roads across the country. We've obtained what we call the bauxite, barter trade arrangement with the Chinese government that is providing $2 billion to us to be able to finish up most of our, deplorable roads that the NDC had in their green book, but they never really finished it up. An example that the NDC started is what is called the Eastern Corridor Road. We have two major roads that links two major of our cities. We have the Kumasi Accra Road, which Kufuor started to dualize it. The NDC, after 8 years in office, could not finish that project when it was just left with, a small portion of the road from Apega to Accra. They left it unattended for 8 years and just did some shallow work on it. Meanwhile, this is a major road that links two of your major, most viable economic cities at the time. You left it and you want to start another one in your strong, hold, which is the Volta region. Yes, the Volta region road, Eastern Corridor Road, is easy access to get to the north. It is the time that you take to travel on that part of the road, it's really economically efficient compared to if you are going through the traditional one, which is the Kumasi one. But NDC could not finish up those projects. It had to take the MPP government to reassess those projects and push funds to them. And today, go to the part of that country and see those roads are being done. On top of that, infrastructure, like he's saying, they started some, hospitals that they didn't complete. We have come in, we've completed them. They started another university in Somenya called the Environmental University. They didn't finish that. We came to finish those projects up. So we are the government that believe that if you come and there's good projects that have been started by a predecessor, the courtesy of good governance, you cannot leave those projects and say, well, they were started by my predecessor. It is the taxpayers' money that has gone into those. And we believe that as a good government that really cares about the people of Ghana and really knows what you're doing, those projects has to be finished. And we've really gone into finish some of those projects and has even started our own projects on top of that. All within this 4 years.
Okay, good.
So we've not run the economy down.
Raise the volume a little because I can't hear a thing he's saying.
Okay, I think it should be from your end because I'm hearing him very fine. I don't know if listeners, if you're having issue with the volume, please let us know so we can adjust it. But I am hearing him very fine. So maybe you may want to adjust your
my volume is at a maximum, but anyway, go ahead.
So can you hear me?
Is it clear now? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes. I can hear you, Mr. Kobby. I can hear you loud and clear.
No.
So Kobby, this is what we'll do. We'll take you out and then we'll try and bring you back in. So go log out and see if you can come back in. Okay.
Okay.
All right. While we do that, you were watching the Progressive Mind Show special edition. We are talking about the Ghana elections. Ghana goes to the ballot part 2. We had part 1 on Wednesday. It was very interesting because it's the country Ghana and there's a lot at stake. We thought it was, and plus with feedback from our audience, we thought we could do a second one this evening prior to the election tomorrow. Mind you, I think it's about 6 hours time difference, so it's about midnight almost to 1 a.m. in Ghana. So by the time we will be sleeping here in the diaspora, waking up, Ghana would have been casting their votes already. So it's very, very important that we understand and know some of the things that are on the table, some of the things that are in play, so we can make a decision. Even if we can vote here in the diaspora, we can be informed and also encourage our family members and friends back home to vote the right way. And I know this program is not only listened to by folks in the diaspora, but it's being watched in Ghana as well. So let's pay attention to the details as the gentlemen do justice to what is at stake. And let's make an informed decisions as we go to the ballots tomorrow. Again, this is the special edition of the Progressive Mind Show. We are live on Trend Africa TV, and I'm sure My Star Radio in Washington, D.C. is carrying us as well. Earlier on, we were having a little technical issue with KOBBY, our guest representing the NDC community. Hopefully, we can get him now, and the sound should be okay. While you're listening and watching, please help share the feed. If you're on Facebook and on YouTube, please help share the feed for us. KOBBY, can you hear Daniel? Maybe you can want to say hello to KOBBY.
KOBBY, can you hear us now?
I can hear you very well. Thank you very much. It's better. Much better.
Excellent. Okay, so KOBBY, go ahead and respond to Daniel, and then we can give you your 5 minutes as well.
Well, Daniel has done their usual talk, but I really do not, want to cross the line, because today is like the final day to push people to do whatever what they're supposed to do. Right. But you see, Daniel has said a whole lot of things. Now, he was talking about this China-Sino-Hydro deal. How long has it been in effect? We heard about this Sino-Hydro deal almost 4 years ago, of which Dr. Bawumia himself went to China and came back and said, yes, he's coming back with, I think, is it 2 billion or 3 billion?
2 billion.
2 billion. And up till now, we haven't even seen anything about this Sino-Hydro deal. Okay, if it's something that probably we are waiting for, I'm sorry, it's too late, because come tomorrow, government is going to change, and you would have to wait for the next whatever 20 years before you can go for your Sino-Hydro deal. Now, I'm glad Daniel said that government is continuing. Okay, so one would have expected that what was started, they would complete. Now, it would be nice to acknowledge that things were done. Eastern Corridor, that he said was never completed, it was completed almost 90% before we left office. Okay, and so when you sit here and you tell me that it was never completed, I'm just blown away. But let's put that on the side. We are talking about what this government has done, what this government is going to do, what weren't we promised? Okay, weren't we promised 350 schools by our president? And how many have we so far built? I just want to lower the tempo so that, like you said, if somebody in Ghana is trying to listen, can listen and understand without these big numbers. Okay, these big numbers would not convince them. So I've been trying to stay away from these big numbers. But let's come to reality. What has been done? I have told you what Mahama did in office, and it's there. He has the track record. Today, if Mahama didn't have the foresight to build a hospital like the UGMC, the University of Ghana Medical Center, where would we be today to take care of the COVID patients? Now, of course,
before you continue, we are getting feedback, background noise from your end. Are there some people around that can excuse you, because we're getting their feedback? That would be very helpful. So please
hold on. Could you give me 1 second?
Yes, we'll do that. We'll let Daniel take it from here. Daniel.
No. Yeah, that's my time. That's my.
You have your time.
That's fine. We can go ahead and let you probably tell us some, because I also asked you of the 1 district 1 million.
So one district 1 factory. As I speak to you, we have about 73 of those factories that are operational, and we are seeking to, consolidate those. And I mean, some have started already producing. The NDC, they know themselves. Within 4 years, this is an NDC government that lived, I mean, for almost like 23 years and never was able to complete one factory. In 4 years, we've had 73 up and running.
You have 73 factories, and maybe in Kumasi,
spread across the country. And to be
can you maybe help identify maybe one or two?
Oh, yes. If you go on the internet and type a Kumfi juice factory,
okay,
a Kumfi juice factory. This is a factory that produces like juice from pineapple.
Okay,
right. That is in a Kumfi, in the central region. So we have another one that produces like potato chips. Produces potato chips.
Okay,
that is also out there. That is completed. We have, I mean, a ceramics factory. They produce the ceramics or these tiles. In some part in the Brown Afro region. That is also, we have other tomato factories that are out there. Even in somewhere close to Sum, there's this fertilizer factory that is also up and running. There's this steel factory in Pram that produces steel, iron rods. You know, when you're building, when you're doing high-rise building, you need this iron rods. And what we intend to do is that we were going to support some existing factories and start some. So some of them were out there, but we supported them with the One District, One Factory initiative to give them capacity and to give them competitive edge. And that has been very successful because we're doing that through the banks. We are not doing it the way Nkrumah did it, where they think that it was free government money and therefore it was subject to abuse. What we did was that you go through the banking system, you apply, they will vet you, they will go through all the risk profiling and understand how you're going to deploy these monies. And then the discipline of the banking system is behind these loans that have been given out for these projects. So that ensures that we can sustain this project over a period of time and that they are going into economically viable ventures that will be able to pay off for themselves.
How about the One Village, One Dam?
Yes, like I told you, the One Village, One Dam, when you see, this is the problem with the NDs. When we speak about dam, they were thinking we're going to build, I don't know which the best example of a dam I need to show you here, but they were thinking we're going to build something like Akosombo Dam. Of course, nobody's going to build Akosombo Dam in the village. The One District, One Dam, when we went up north campaigning in 2016, the people told us that they needed small earth dams to be able to do dry season garden. And so we said that, okay, this is not hard to do. Why have the NDC or a previous government not done this for you? If this is how you are telling us, if this is the nature of the dams you are telling us you need, you shouldn't take, scientifics like mathematicians to be able to construct those dams for you. And therefore, we put in our manifesto and said, One District, One Dam, specifically for the people of the northern region, not even for the southern part of our country. And they bought into that idea, and we've been providing that for them. Like I tell you, as we go into this election, the people are going to vote on those matters. And when the results are out, we'll see if the people were glad about those policies or those, projects that we implemented for them.
Right.
So cross your fingers. Tomorrow we'll see what the numbers say.
Right. And then the District 1 million, is that what it was?
One District, 1 million. That is all part of the whole agenda to be able to develop our communities. What we wanted to do, we wanted to standardize the development across all societies and across all communities, such that no society is left behind. In the past, what we realized was that the development was centered in district capitals and we didn't have a standardized form of development. So we've established 3 authorities, what we call the Northern Development Authority, the Middle Belt Development Authority, and the Coastal Development Authority. And these authorities are to identify needs based on a need gap assessment from these communities and then directly provide the things that the communities are asking for, because two communities are the same in terms of what they're looking for.
So the government indeed issued the 1 million to these districts.
So yeah, the government is doing that through, using innovative means. One of those, the benefit of those policies is the one constituency, one ambulance. And then the toilets that the NDC will rillicule is also one of those projects that are going on in those districts.
So let me say this: the 1 million it wasn't like a whole million that was given physically to the districts, but it was
no.
No. Okay, I got it. It was so the districts received this funding, and this 1 million funding is supposed to be used for, like you said, the toilets and some other
anything that the community asks them. The community is community driven, so the community will say this is what we need, and then we'll go in and provide.
KOBBY, thankfully you are back, and I know you want to respond to some of the things that he said. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Now he's talking about this $1 million per constituency issue. Now I quite remember that even their own firebrand, Kennedy Japan himself, was on radio and on TV chastising the government that up till now he has not received this $1 million. Listen, the promise was not going to build toilets. It was a thing that I remember at Cape Coast University. Dr. Bawumia stood before the crowd and told them that the money is ready, so everybody come to Accra and collect your $1 million. Okay? So Ghana.
All right, looks like we're having a little glitch with his feed. We would wait till we get it fixed. Yeah, Kobby is back now. Kobby, it looks like we had a low. Yeah, we lost you for a second, but go ahead.
Yes. You see, it looks like Ghanaians have been taken for granted. If Daniel is laughing and he knows that what he is saying is totally different from what was promised to the people.
So make your point, Kobby. What was promised to the people and what has been done based off what you said?
Absolutely nothing. Absolutely. He's talking about factories. Now, pinpoint, tell me where all these factories are. You told me.
He mentioned a juice making factory in a Jusu or something.
Okay.
Okay.
A Kumfi? You mean a Kumfi president?
Yes, your former president.
Daniel, be fair to yourself and be fair to the people that are listening.
Google it and let your viewers.
Just recently, people went there to verify, and it was just a vast land with a signboard. There is no factory over there. You see, so don't cook these things.
Let him finish.
You see, it's about time that we put our party colors on the side and put on the Ghana colors and think about Ghana. You see, you're talking about this. It's never happened. See, if I were you, I would have rather pushed for the Commander Sugar Factory. How much do we spend a year on importation of sugar? Don't you think that the government would have done a better job by funding people to produce more sugarcane to feed this factory, which that does not only generate the sugar that is needed, but also.
Okay, so Kobby, just to hold you for a second. Now, based off what he said, I'm looking at the factory that is based that's supposed to have been built in what do you call it? Kumfi. So it says Nana Akufo-Addo. This is Joy FM News, published on the 21st of August, 2020. It says Nana Akufo-Addo commissions a Kumfi fruits and juices factory, and then it says goes on to say the president has commissioned the Kumfi fruits and juices factory, a project initiated under the One District One Factory initiative of his government, according to the president of Ghana, Akufo-Addo. The Kumfi Fruits and Juice Factory is a wholly owned Ghana company and has one of the most modern automated agro processing plants in the country. It goes on and on, but it is right here. Let me see if I can share this. So we definitely do have something like that. Okay? Now, I don't know if you want to respond to that, Kobby, because we do have it, and I'll see if I can share my screen right now.
Yeah, Kobby, you've been a long time. Maybe you follow the MPP, but this is reality.
No, Kobby. Now, there's a comment. I think Asunaba says a Kumfi pineapple factory was in existence way before Akufo-Addo took over the presidency in 2017.
I mean, the presidency is a serious. I mean, what do you call agency of government? You think that the presidency will go to a factory and commission it and tell you that it was in existence in 2017? It's not one of those factories that we supported. This was a brand new factory we started from the scratch, and it's up and running. And it's not just that one. I just give you an example. There are many others. There are other factories that were in existence that, based on the policy, we gave them funding, we supported because we are private led. I mean, policy oriented party. So this Ekumfi factory is not one of those that were in existence, that were supported and given the opportunity to expand their capacity and employ more people. Remember our manifesto, the title was Agenda for Jobs. So how are we going to create these jobs? If there were existing factories that could provide capacity and employ more people, I mean, it's one of those brilliant ways of supporting them to come up to speed, to be able to provide the needed employment.
I am hoping that you all can see the screen.
Yeah, I can see the screen.
You can see it. Okay. We have KOBBY in here too. So KOBBY, this is what we are talking about. I'm trying to see if we can get. So that is the president. We're seeing in the screen sipping on. Maybe I think that looks like one of the products. Yes. And then you see it says Ekumfi fruits, Ekumfi pure fruits. Okay. So and then there's looks like a warehouse or a part of the factory. And then so here is a clear picture of what that he's saying now. So I guess we can debate this, but there's at least there's an evidence whether it wasn't existent. It doesn't say on their website if this factory was built in maybe a year before the government of the current government took power. So, but at least we have the evidence of what he's saying. KOBBY, do you you still want to respond to some of the economic the projects that were supposed to have been dealt with or built under the one district,
one factory?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Now you've dug up this Ekumfi thing. That is fine, but not too long ago. You see, I would say probably because of the election, they probably hurriedly put something, or even this is something that had been there before. And you see, most of these things have been done, and they had actually gone to other private companies,
okay,
to help them slap their slabs over there,
okay,
claiming it's under the one district, one factory. There's been so many instances about that. But then, okay, that is fine. Now, if all these factories are available, like he's saying, how come we are facing unemployment in the country? How come everybody is crying about economic issues in the country? I mean, if you are saying one village, one district, one factory, that means we are talking about 216 factories, right?
So let's say that even though they promised one district, one factory, they have not been able to build a lot, but at least they've been able to build one or two. Let's say that, right? Let's, for the sake of argument, let's say they built some.
Okay, so which one else can we verify today?
Well, I think I know you'll be more than willing to give us another example. Can you give us others, Mr. Daniel?
Oh, so he's not interested in the programs.
No. Because I asked this because
Google B2 Steel Company in Tema.
B2 Steel Company.
That was one of those that were in existence that we helped expand their capacity.
Expanded the capacity.
Right.
KOBBY.
Yes,
okay, let's do this. So we are saying that the president, His Excellency Akufo-Addo, promised some infrastructure, and he's been able to, make good some on his promise, some of the infrastructure. But obviously, he has not met all of his promise in terms of the number of dams and all the promises. He has not been able to complete all of it. It's obvious. So okay, we can accept that. But he's done some. At least you've mentioned one, and you've mentioned two that I can verify. So I'll go ahead and do that. But whilst we are looking at it, KOBBY, to you, JM John Mahama, who is the opposition leader of the NDC party, who is trying to come to power tomorrow. When you look at him, when you compare him to Nana Akufo-Addo, who do you think has built more infrastructure for Ghana than the other? No, but because of time, please take 5 minutes and maybe walk us through a few projects, but vividly give us a picture of what you think, in your opinion, has been his infrastructure development versus Nana Akufo-Addo?
I am going to definitely give you some. Let's start from hospitals. John Mahama promised regional hospitals when he came into power. Did we build the Accra Regional Hospital?
Okay.
Is there for everybody to see. We have Sunyani, the Sunyani Hospital. Sunyani.
You didn't build it. You did an extension. So.
Oh, I mean, listen. When it comes to Ridge Hospital, I can tell you, I worked at Ridge Hospital before I left the United States. I left for the United States. It's not what we have there.
Oh, okay. So it's more like.
So I have a first-hand experience with Ridge Hospital. I worked there. You see, so that is out of the question. Now let's talk about the SNIT Hospital. Let's talk about the Bank of Ghana Hospital. Let's talk about the University of Ghana Medical Center. Okay, then let's go to Ashanti region, the Afari Military Hospital. Do you agree with me that it's there? Now, the Kumasi Market.
It wasn't complete, right? We are still working on it. It's still work in progress, right?
It's work in progress, but at least it was about 70% complete before he left office.
Kobby, go on.
Yes, let's talk about the Kumasi Market, which everybody knows is taking over the whole of Africa, as people are saying. That is one of the best markets in the whole of Africa.
Which Kumasi Market? What's the name?
Kejetia Market.
Kejetia Market. Okay.
Thank you. Kejetia Market. Okay. Now let's move on to the Kotoka Terminal 3 Airport. It's there. Let's talk about the Kaswa interchange. It's there. Let's talk about the Circle interchange. It's there. Let's talk about the E-class blocks. They are all there. These are physical fixtures that are there for you to see. Okay, these are promises he made and promises he delivered. So if we have to compare these to what was even just recently Temamoto Way interchange that was opened, the funding was sourced by John Mahama before he left office.
How about schools?
Of which I know Daniel will agree with me.
How about schools and public housing? Can we look at those?
That's what I was talking about, the E blocks. How many E blocks did he complete? And these are first-class buildings.
Where? In Accra?
Okay.
All over?
We have them all over. Accra, we have them in the Ashanti region. Almost every region has some. Okay, and like I said, at least when he left office, he had completed 46.
Okay,
totally.
That's fine. Baby wants to come into she wants to come into the camera. Let her come and say hi, and she can so she knows she appeared. Okay, come on, baby. Say hi.
No, it's okay. It's okay. You see, there were 71 of them that was not completed. Mm-hmm. Now, have they touched them since they came in? Now, when we are talking about buildings, do you know about the Saglemi housing project? It's there. Okay, so when we are talking about infrastructure, when you're talking about buildings,
how about schools? I mean, sorry, you mentioned schools already. You mentioned schools. That's an E blocks. I meant public housing. That's
the okay. I gave you an example of the Saglemi housing project.
Right. There. Where is it? Where is that?
No.
Where is that located at?
Saglemi, I think it's in the Pram area.
Pram. Okay.
Yes. Now let's come to energy. I know they want to claim that they killed Dumso, and you see Daniel finds it's funny because he knows the things that he says are not true. Okay. I think last week I heard him talk about their Marydale and Car Power and all that. Dumso had been around way before John Mahama took over. And he made a promise to kill it before he leaves office. And even though he had 4 years, what did he do? He brought in all kind of interventions to finally kill Dumso. Dumso was no longer around when he left office. Okay, now if Daniel and NPP are talking about they are the ones who finally got rid of Dumso, but then what have you added to the national grid to prove to us that you did it? Okay, I can list a whole lot. The car power, the Ameri, okay, Asogli gas plant may be private, but it was also help the sourced help from the government. A trouble is there. Okay, so when it comes to energy, I mean, all sectors, John Mahama typed them. And today, if we are enjoying all these things, now they're talking about free water, free electricity. Daniel, I want to ask you a question. Have you guys paid the IPPs? Because about 2 weeks ago, or probably 3 weeks ago, there was a letter from the IPPs that Ghana government owes them $1.2 billion, and that if the money is not paid, they are going to shut their plants. That means Dumso is coming back. Okay, so
okay.
what?
Daniel, respond to this. Daniel, you said a lot, so I'll let you respond to that, and then we can.
This is the problem with the NDC. They think that by just throwing money's to a problem, they're solving it. Or I guess.
Just deliver what you can. Leave NDC out. It's not a problem with the NDC. People will tell you the truth.
No, okay, the truth.
But you guys are like mouth with nothing to show.
Maybe I think you've lived more than I've lived. But let me tell you one thing: if you have the best of policies, even academia, if you have the best of research paper, and you can't communicate that, I mean, don't blame anybody for it. That is why there's the need for you to communicate what you think you did to the Ghanaian people or how well you were able to serve them. You did that in your 2016 campaign, and the Ghanaian people said, "No, we don't think what you're telling us is truthful. It's not represented on the ground." And that is the essence of the verdict the Ghanaian people gave you. And we have come in, and all the things that you said, some of them you didn't even finish them. We had to finish them up with all the time that you had to be able to finish this project. Let me come specifically to the military hospital that you mentioned. Those hospitals were hospitals under the Eurojet project that you inherited some of them, and even including the War Hospital from the Kufuor era. From the Kufuor era that you didn't finish, you didn't complete. It had to take the MPP to come back and finish some of those projects.
What's the name of the hospital?
What hospital are you talking about?
There's one in Wa called the Wa Regional Hospital. There's the Kumasi one that is talked about, the Afari Military Hospital. You know, they didn't, like I'm saying, they didn't finish all these projects. It had to take the MPP government that is so efficient at finishing projects and knows that it's very important that if you delay a project, you delay its benefit into the future, and you deny the people the good, services that they need to get on board and to, accelerate this project to a successful end. And it's all because they ran the economy down and they didn't have the money. You can't do this project without the money, because even when the people who are lending you the loans realize that your economy is down, they kind of drag their feet when they are advancing these loans to you. Because they are like, are you going to manage it properly? Are you going to deploy these resources as and when they are needed?
Daniel, let me come in real quick. He mentioned that his party, led by JM John Mahama, in his tenure, was able to put up this project that he mentioned. When it comes to schools, he mentioned the e-blocks, and then some of the housing projects, and he mentioned the interchanges. These are visible projects that you can see with your physical eye and identify. And so that is what we are also looking compared to Nana Akufo-Addo, the president.
So yeah, right. Like I said, facts are facts, right? I mean, we are not going to, it's a country we are building.
Right.
Indeed, they started some of those projects. A cycle interchange, I'll give it to them. They started and they completed it. The Kaswa interchange, they started and they completed it. Okay. But remember, I've told you that the problem with the NDC is that they were borrowing a lot of money and claiming to be doing this infrastructure, but our economy was going down. But does that sound logical? That a government claims a government claims I'm doing projects, and then on top of all this project, our economy was going down and down and down to the extent that we had to go to an IMF bailout. The one thing I must tell you is that the cost of those projects are contestable. MPP, we have always argued with them that you guys don't know how to manage resources. You take huge millions of dollars and you put it into this project, and then when you look at the project, you are like, are we crazy? We could have gotten this project less at less cost than what you're telling us you're getting it. And we told the Ghanaian people this. The Ghanaian people believed us, and they realized that indeed these guys were wasteful.
Okay.
So we are building 4 different interchanges at the cost of the 2 that they put up.
Which
and
one?
These 4 interchanges are more sophisticated and complex than what they provided to us. And we're going to show that to the Ghanaian people as evidence of what you guys put us into.
Kobby, so which of these? Sorry, where are these interchanges that you're talking about?
You're talking about me?
No, I'm talking to Daniel. Daniel,
You said
we're talking about the Jacobi Lamte interchange. We're talking about this place called, what do you call it?
Who saw the funding for Jake? Who saw the funding for Jake?
We are building a 4-tier interchange. Like the type you see in Texas. One of the special ones you see in West Africa.
Where?
We are doing all this. We are doing all this interchange. We are building one to Tamale. We are building another interchange in Tamale, northern region. The first time that they are getting an interchange. And we are doing all this at the cost of less than $300 million.
Daniel, you said that, okay, so you are building this high, sophisticated interchange, which we are very excited to hear about. Where in Ghana? Is it Tema? Is it Accra? Is it Kumasi? Is it Akari?
Oh, I mentioned the location. Maybe you didn't hear me. I told you Pokwasi. Pokwasi is in Accra. When you're exiting Accra to Kumasi.
Okay.
And then there's one in Tamale.
Who started the Pokwasi interchange?
So you see, we have started the project from the ground, and it's up there. You're not asking me who started. You are going to tell us.
No.
Everything that we do, they come and claim that they source the funds. So what are you doing in government?
This is exactly what I am talking about. That things are done, and you guys are taking, a responsibility for them. You see, Pokwasi interchange was started by who? What are you saying?
Started by who?
So Kobby, this is what I'm looking for. He's saying that they are building the Pokwasi interchange, and they are building another interchange at
in Tamale. They finish one. There will be Chebilante in Accra.
Kobby, are you saying that
we are starting one to in Takrade? We are starting one to in Takrade as well.
Kobby, are you saying that the Obichebilamte and the Pokwasi interchanges projects were a project that NDC started because you were interjecting when you were talking?
If funding was sourced for these projects, that means it was in the plan to be built. Okay. Once again, time did not permit the Mahama administration to finish all this. But if he had gone to source the funding for the project, that means it was there.
Okay, let's try and summarize this, guys. So no, I know, Daniel. Before you come in, we have to establish something. That you were saying that John Mahama made His Excellency ex-President John Mahama made provisions for the building of the Pokwasi interchange, the Obetebi, and some of the projects that he's just mentioning. But he's saying that their party built it, and they're actually in the process of building it. Now, whether somebody made provisions for something, yes, by virtue of his tenure, he could not continue. But if somebody comes to build it, I think we ought to give credit to the person who has built it. If I make funds for it, we haven't seen evidence of the funds, but we see evidence of the project and the objects being there. So we can say that, okay, this person is the one that enacted this building. Is that fair to say, Kobby?
That's exactly. I mean, by you saying this, even brings something to mind. Do you see the N1 highway?
Yeah.
Who started it? President Kufuor.
Right.
Okay. But it was finished by President Atta Mills. On the day that the highway was officially going to be commissioned, who did he invite to come come with him to go do the celebration. President Atamels invited President Kufuor to come along because you started it, so you take credit for it too.
Right.
Okay. But the problem with these people, this current administration, this Nana Akufo-Addo and his people, is that they do not want to give credit to the people who started the thing, but they just want to jump up and take the over everything without doing anything, without lifting a finger. See, this is what really bothered me.
Okay, no, so now I don't feel like the country should base their decision on who they decide on tomorrow based off I would say one leader who decides not to give credit to the other leader. I think that is an ethnic that's a I would say something that has to do with moral, and we cannot necessarily use that as a yardstick. What is very, very important, I think, what's very critical is that did one person promise something and did they deliver? Did the other promise and deliver more? So who delivered more? Because obviously they all seem to do something. So who did more for the country of Ghana, which should necessitate the votes of confidence for for him to have the next 4 years. And I think that is what we want to look at, right? So
we Daniel has told us a whole lot of things they've built without a picture to show us what they have.
Okay, so
but let me. I mean, there are so many things that if I have to list them down to you today, this show will not even end.
I know.
Okay, we're talking about the WA water supply project.
Okay.
Do you know about that?
Yes.
Okay. Ghana Civil Aviation Training Academy in Accra. Frafra Community Senior High School, a beautiful building. It's there to see. Okay, like I told you about the Saglami project in Pram Pram is there. Okay, have you seen the new AMA building at Tudu? A beautiful thing is there for you to see. The the Job 600 office complex, the State House.
Yeah,
it was modernized, beautiful. Is there? I will take you there to see it. But Daniel is telling us about all these things they've built, okay, and cannot show us where these things are. I mean, who has delivered more? That was the question.
Right.
That is the question. Who has delivered more?
Yeah.
And definitely, without a doubt, John Mahama has.
Okay.
John Mahama has, and anybody who wants to know, I will cut a big picture, send it to you, pay you to show to the world.
All right.
What John Mahama did.
So on this note, we want to look at security and corruption, which is under leadership.
Can I have like 1 minute response to some of the things you just said?
Yes, go ahead.
You see, when we talk about infrastructure, I think that this is the problem with our NDC folks.
Once again,
infrastructure, the fiscal burden is okay. I mean, it's great to have those burdens. But Alinko, if that was simple governance, then Alinko, you don't need any sophisticated person to be a president of a country, right? Because you have engineers that are
Daniel, the question
in this department that can plan any project, and then once you give them funding, they can execute the project to an end. We are talking about governance that entails many things. As you build this infrastructure, you must find a way to be able to connect the dots. You must find a way to be able to have the software infrastructure to be able to maximize this infrastructure. Alinko, NDC, they are very good at putting white elephant project there just to show that they've done something. Like the free senior high school block that he talked about. They were putting some of these blocks in far communities that could not be reached. When you go to my village, for instance, we had one of the E blocks that it's about 4 kilometers away from the town folks. And these kids have to walk about 4 kilometers each day to be able to attend the school. There's no boarding facility to them, just to show that we are doing something. When we came, we are like, no, the existing secondary schools that are there, They have land, they have space. You could have just expanded on those and you achieve the same outcomes. But because these people like projects, because they know what they get from this project and they're going to inflate them, they put this project out there. And if you are a CEO of a company, like this is not an efficient use of our resources.
Okay.
And so,
Daniel,
Daniel,
let me come in.
To wrap up on that point, what I'm trying to tell Mr. Kobby is that infrastructure development, no doubt, it's a good thing, but you have to have a strategic approach to it. You can't just be putting up stuff elsewhere and think that will satisfy the Ghanaian people.
On that note, you know, the vice president, Baumia came, I think he was publicly declaring and proudly talking about the number of toilets that his government has built, which signifies the effort to build a nation. Because to him, infrastructure is not necessarily something you should worry about, but building a nation is far more important. And so to him, by building these toilet facilities, he thought that was in essence build a nation. And you were saying that infrastructure does not necessarily go anywhere. So if the vice president is claiming these facilities as a process of building a nation, which is proud of, then you should know that anybody that puts up infrastructure, be it schools, hospitals, or whatever it is very significant when it comes to nation building.
That is not disputable. I mean, infrastructure. We are not. You see, we are not disputing that you don't need infrastructure. We'll be the last people to dispute that. What we were disputing was that at what cost were you doing all this?
Okay, good.
I mean, you can't just be putting out infrastructure for infrastructure's sake. You were doing all this and we ended up with an IMF bailout. Does this make sense to you? Daniel, you tell me you are building infrastructure, you are building the physical layout that will help your economy grow, and yet your economy was going down. And we ended up with an IMF bailout.
And having nothing to show for. It is better than borrowing 156 billion cedis and not having anything to show for. But Alinko, let me correct him here on where these e-blocks are built. Government doesn't just get up and walk into a town and say, hey, we've taken this land and we're going to build a school there. Before this thing is done, you go through the DC or the MCE, they go to the chiefs and they tell the chiefs, the e-blocks that we are talking about, we want to build one in your town. Is there a land you can give us to build it? The chiefs will point to you a land, you go and build it there. But then listen, remember sometimes, like I'm glad you said you are a little bit older than you, so you might not remember. Once upon a time, Legon, Presec were all in the bush. For you to get there, you just have to trek a few miles to get there through the bush to get there. Today, where are they now? Okay, so if you say you just get up and to me, it's a non-factor. If the school is there, and it's not even 4 kilometers away. Some of them are like at the edge of the towns, probably a kilometer, 1.5 kilometers away. Okay, so if your child is going to school and have to trek 1 kilometer, 1.5 kilometers to go to school, to an ultra-modern school, what is wrong with that?
Okay, fine. He mentioned that you borrowed, you used 54 billion on this project, and it ran the country into a financial crisis. Now, it's also being touted around that Ghana is probably headed towards HIPIC right now, because of our debt ratio. So, Kobby, what's your response to that? I know this government has borrowed 154 billion for project. So maybe Daniel, you can also help understand. Do you think that the projects that His Excellency Akufo-Addo and his government have put in place right now, right, commensurate the money that have been borrowed so far?
Yes, I mean, Aliko, the bonds that we borrowed, we really accounted for them, and I think we really done an excellent job, trying to manage this economy with those borrowings. And think about it, Aliko, we are not in an IMF bailout. We've exited that program. Do you think that it takes something to exit an IMF bailout program?
Right. So Ghana is not headed towards HIPIC as we speak, no?
No, HIPIC, we don't even qualify for HIPIC.
Okay.
We can't qualify for HIPIC.
No,
and like I told you, in the pandemic, Aliko, here in the United States, your Congress, your Senate are passing trillions of money just to be able to sustain the economy. This was an economy that was doing well, right? You see how the pandemic hit it. It's no fault of Trump, but some external shock comes and it dealt a major blow to the economy. And that doesn't mean that the economy was not strong before the pandemic.
Right.
So we are also having to manage the pandemic situation in a way that is going to naturally add debt. Those debts are not exclusively wasteful debt in this context, because they are meaningful debts, and it's not just Ghana. In other European countries, developed countries, they are all having to face this same situation. IMF is out there trying to help all these other countries out. It's not by their own mismanagement or internal policy misalignment that has caused this.
For your information to you now, these debts had been incurred before.
Oh, of course, if we're cleaning the
before the pandemic came in. You are blaming the economy on corona, on the pandemic. Every country in this world is suffering under this pandemic. Okay, so why are you trying to tell me all these monies were borrowed before, after, because of the effects of the pandemic? No, you had borrowed up to about 180 billion cedis before even the pandemic hit. Okay, and my question is, what has been done with the money? You are talking about inflated projects. Okay, but that is why you guys, and I think I'm just jumping in, or I'm picking back into the security thing you're talking, the corruption thing you're talking about. When you came to power, you made the whole world know that NDC was corrupt. All the money had been stolen, and you were going to put together an office of the special prosecutor to prosecute all of them. Of course, you went and got Martin Amidu, who didn't see eye to eye with John Mahama. Okay, and at that time, every NPP man, woman in the world was dancing, because all these Mahama people and their cabinet members and their ministers were going to be put in jail. I remember Kweku Baku, your chief spokesman, twerking on Adum FM that Martin Amidu is here. Martin Amidu is here. What happened in the long run? Okay, there is a man that President Akufo-Addo touted as the man, the honest man on the plan. I mean, on the land of Ghana, and that was true, because at the end of the day, he found out that he was chasing the wrong people. What did he say about your president, or my president too? Of course. What did he say about Nana Akufo-Addo? The serpent of corruption, and it's there. There are videos circulating where president is sitting at his office collecting a brown envelope, 40,000 dollars. That too, you are going to say it's doctored, but it's there. Today, the gentleman who actually filmed the thing spoke. Okay, and today is the day that we've gotten to know why Ahmed Swali was killed. Ahmed Swali was not the intended person to be killed. It was him, Mr. Abdullahi, because the president had found out that he had filmed him on this bribery thing. Okay, unfortunately, they mistook him for Ahmed Swali and killed him, and killed Ahmed Swali. Today, the man spoke. And there's video there to show the president grabbing the envelope full of full of American dollars. Now, you talked about NDC people, also thieves, left and right, corrupt, left and right. How many of them have you been able to put to jail? You see, so then, should I believe you that NDC was as corrupt as you said? Because we've had 4 years, to put somebody in jail.
Kobby, let's give Daniel the chance to respond. But before he does so, wanted to recognize our viewers who have been watching and commenting on Facebook so far. Jones Amwako is here with us. Hans Bex Brekum is Zibrekum. Okay, thanks for joining us. We have Asunaba. Asunaba says, if the IMF was bad, why did the Kufuor administration extend the loan? Okay, I think we talked about that. Tell him NPP party has not built a single factory in Ghana. And the Kumfi pineapple was in existence before Kufuor.
Thank you very much. Thank you. From the area.
Oh, hey, William, how are you, William? Thanks for joining us. Richard Scottfield says, I tasted it in 2019. It's real. Okay, I think he's testifying to the pineapple juice factory. Yeah, Asunaba is very serious. He says, I'm telling you, the factory was in existence before Akufo-Addo became president. Okay, I think the point has been made. He's from there, and so I wish you can give me a document to support this. But thank you for passing your comment, Asunaba. Thank you so much.
But then was there anything to also to show when that factory was built? Well, if you are demanding evidence from Asunaba, you need to demand the same thing from Daniel, because there was nothing out there that showed when the building was built. And I believe Asunaba, because that is where Asunaba comes from.
Okay, Kobby, for the sake of our listeners, right? Actually, I have a video on the internet. I have pictures on the internet that shows that there is a factory. He's saying that there is a factory there, right? He's saying there's a factory there. I have to prove whether there's a factory there or not. So we did that, right? Now Asunaba is claiming that this factory was in existence before this one. So if Asunaba can show me a factory in 2015 of a Kumfi juice factory that was already in existence on the internet, I can show that, right? And show this one as well, so people can, but if I look up a Kumfi juice factory in 2015, this is the only video that is, image or information that is pulling up on Joy FM. So I will work and see if I can get something on it in 2015 or before 2016. So I take your challenge, Kobby. I think it's a fair challenge. It's a fair question. So thank you. Jemima Kumi is also here with us. Stephanie says, is infrastructure the only indicator of development for Ghana? We deserve so much more. I'm tired of hearing who built more schools, hospitals, etc., when the standard of living is not improving. That's a very, very good point. We need to see the standard of people's life moving up. She says, exactly, the question is who we trust more, because everyone promises and do some, but not all. One would argue that one side has had more time than the other. Okay, thank you so much for your comments. Akwesi Akrobi Asante says, when it comes to infrastructure, no government in Ghana will beat John Mahama. That's a fact. That fact, believe it or not. That's fact, believe it or not. Stephanie again says, is open defecation not a problem in the country? Anyway, I hope whomever is elected will will tackle sanitation and protect our environment. Johnny Wu says, great job, Kobby. And then Asunaba again says, the Kufi factory was started in 2013. Okay, 2013. Okay, I'm going to look it up now and see what I can find. Black Jesus, Royal Black Jesus, he says, great job, Alinko, my brother. Thank you so much. If you're watching us, this is the special edition of so Ghana goes to the ballot. Ghana goes to the ballots, part 2. Who do you trust? Who do you trust to lead Ghana for the next 4 years? We dealt with the economic, economic development section of the show. We are looking at security, national security and corruption. My brother Kobby made some points regarding corruption. Daniel, you want to respond to that?
Yeah, Alinko, you see, the corruption fight, it will take a lot of effort to overcome it. And we believe we're on course to do that. Why? Why do I say so? Alinko, the NDC, right, when they were in government, do you know that they had budgeted to pay what we call like judgment debt, and paid over 52 million? I'm not making this up. This happened, and it went through the court. And even the court judge had to say he's so baffled by how a government can be so, look in the eyes of the Ghanaian people and take our money, 52 million, and give it to their, a financier, as if they sat down in the room and created to loot and to share the monies of government. This became a hot issue. Up to date, it's been hunting the NDC. The guy is in court. The government, it is taking the MPP government to go and sell his properties to defray some of the cost and then retrieve monies to government. They had this other gentleman in the National Youth Employment Agency that they called JIDA, took our monies and then misapplied. Just, I mean, we don't know even how they handle those monies. 100 million Ghana cedi. That guy was sent through the court system. He's in jail as I speak to you. They started the process. We came and we finished it up because they were lackadaisical as always. And each time we come in and we take the process and we fast track it. And the guy is in jail as I speak to you. Call Abugapeli. And that the money that it's been believed that this man stole, I don't think that money went to that guy alone. It went to some other people. But because he was the head of that institution, he had to be the scapegoat for these NDC folks. We've had issues like the SNIT 75 million scandal. We've had issues like the National Communication Authority. The guys are in court as I speak to you, and they are going through the court system. You know, the court system is the rule of law. You have to, take your time. You can't just rush it. You have to produce the evidence, and with time, this judgment takes a lot of time to come out. Aside that, there were so many other things that this government was doing, and on top of that, the Ghanaian people saw that no, these guys were being wasteful. On top of that, they are bad managers of the economy. The Ghanaian people did not see any benefit that was coming from this government. On top of that, Doomsor was killing them. Their businesses were dying. So on the collective, even though they claimed they were doing all these good things, the Ghanaian would not tell no, it doesn't make sense. You are wasting all these monies. Your projects are inflated. You are not giving us value for money. You are also letting us sleep in Doomsor, and we're having to go through this suffocation under your government. That reflected in the 2016 election results. An incumbent government that was rejected outright, 44% against the opposition that won 53%. What do you think those numbers meant? Those numbers meant something. It meant that the Ghanaian people had lived so much under, deprivation that they couldn't believe that the incompetence of the government could lead them to all these outcomes. Akufo-Addo government came in and said, you know what, we'll restore all these. And in 3 years, the man has been at it. He said he established a special prosecutor office because we needed to have the fear of God in people to realize that public funds are public funds. You can't dissipate public funds like, it's your own private fund. And he gave the Ghanaian people this promise whilst he was campaigning. Immediately he got into office, within 2 years, he had established the office of the special prosecutor. The reason why he established that office was because in the past, whenever our NDC folks have caused financial loss and they were being taken through the court system, they will come shouting to the Ghanaian people that it is witch hunting, that their political opponent just hate them. Then they will use ethnicity to try to divert an important issue of corruption. And the government said, we cannot continue to fight corruption with this attitude. Therefore, we'll produce an independent body that would prosecute any government official, even including my own officials, if they do anything corruption, so that we can isolate the issue of prosecuting public officers from the political arena and then deal with people as criminals and as people who are, nation saboteurs. That was the brain behind the special prosecutor office. And to our campaign promise, that was delivered. As to whether the special prosecutor worked effectively to prosecute people and to bring people to the book is a different question. But as far as we know, we have established that office, given it all the prosecutorial powers, given it all the resources that it requires to be able to check corruption. And I think that as I sit here, I'm still very convinced that the man that we chose to lead that office at the time that we chose, for me, any day, anytime, if you unwind time, I'll still go back for that man.
Okay, good. Martin Amidu, because go ahead.
Because Martin Amidu, when we had the Wyoming case, the create, loot, and share, this NDC government was dragging their feet to go after the money. This Martin Amidu was seeking to get these monies from us. Because of that, there was a friction. He left the government that he served under the NDC. And so when he went in as a private, he was then the Deputy Attorney General. So he knew the facts of the case. So when he went out to be a private person, he still pursued the fact of this case in court privately and then warned against this gentleman to be able to get us the money. So he had proven that he's a man that really loves his country and want to see that we retrieve corrupt money from individuals that don't deserve it. Okay. And so
by you saying this, and sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I wanted to chip this in. By you giving so much credence to Martin Amidu, is it okay to say that whatever he said about the certain president being a very being a man of integrity, being a very patriotic man, an independent man, and all the accolades that you gave him, should we also say that he made a fair judgment by calling His Excellency, the President of Ghana, the mother of all serpents when it comes to corruption? Is it fair to say?
Well, it's not a mother of all serpents, it's a serpent of corruption.
That is fine.
It's not mother of all serpents.
No,
serpent of corruption.
I said it. I said mother of.
Aliko, let's not haggle about this. That is a factual statement the man made.
Okay.
Because until his resignation, that's a factual statement. It's fact, but it doesn't mean it's accurate, right? A statement can be fact, but it's not accurate. To test that somebody's corrupted, you know where you have to take him through. He has to go through the court system. The fact that a special prosecutor, makes claims does not mean that that stands against you. It has to be tested in the court of law to be proven that, in fact, he has evidence to show that. If that has not been done, all you say will be allegations. Then you haven't proven anything. So for someone, I can get up today and make a statement and say, hey, NDC is the most corrupt party. If I don't have any facts to say it, I would have said it. It's in fact that I said it. But is it an accurate statement? Has it been proven? Has it been tested? So yes, the man in resigning.
In the same vein, though, NDC in 2016 was also tutored, and per your submission earlier, you mentioned that they had been corrupt, and of course, it was one of the messages the now NPP government used against NDC, that they were corrupt, and none of their cases that they were using to judge them as being corrupt had been tested in the court of law. But then, so by your own standard, wouldn't that be inaccurate?
No, far from that. The cases have been tested in court. The Wyoming case is not an allegation. It's been gone through the court system and it's been cleared.
Okay.
And so that is not an allegation we are making. It's something that has been proven through the court system.
And then the guinea fowl.
And the guinea fowl case, the guy that I told is in prison now. But it's gone through the court. They started the prosecution. The NDC started the prosecution, but they were dragging their feet. It took the NPP government to come into power to jail that guy because we're fast tracking the process and we knew where the weak points were. And they were just dragging their feet. These are not mere allegations. These are facts that have been proven through the court system and it's been established.
Okay, great. So in your case, Martin Amidu made a case, special prosecutor for the country of Ghana, a credible guy by your standard and by a lot of people's standards based off the work he was chosen to do. He calls the sitting president, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, the serpent mother of corruption, right? And you were saying that the statement he made is factual. However, it may not be accurate because the case has not gone through the courts and to be proven, for it to be authenticated. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Okay.
And that's what I'm trying to point to you, that if a special prosecutor make a case, by just saying it doesn't mean it's proven right. He has to prove that in court.
Okay, good. KOBBY, you want to respond to that quickly?
Okay, absolutely. Yes, I want to respond to that. Proven in court or not? Of course, you are right. It has to be proven in court. Proven in court or not, it has been established by your own man, the man you appointed to investigate corruption in the country, that the leader of the country himself is the mother of a serpent of all corruptions. It hasn't gone to court, but the man he touted as the most fair person, the man he touted as the man who can do the job, eventually came out and pinpointed the real culprit. Okay, so whether it's gone to court or not, now we know where all these corruptions are coming from, where all these loss of money are coming from. Daniel, would you agree with me that last year, the Auditor General's report stated that there was a total of 986 million Ghana cedis missing, unaccounted for? Would you agree with me? That was the Auditor General's report. Now, let's talk about corruption. And if I have to, there'll be so many of them. There's Boachie Jaku and their Mary Dale, which eventually got him kicked out of office. Eslowusu Kelly GVG, it happened. I think it was Howard Kumsin who was trying to charge the government $800,000 for a website. When it was brought to Parliament, it was found out that when it was challenged, he said, "Oh, it was supposed to be 80,000, and somebody made a mistake and put another zero." Okay. Do you remember about the Oslo deal, whereby a building that was appraised at $3.5 million was going to be sold to Ghana government for $13 million?
How much money was lost in all this? The government hasn't paid any money. So I'm surprised you are here talking about how much the taxpayer losing all this.
No, it was through the vigilance of the minority. The Oslo deal, had Okudato Abrakwa not challenged it and investigated it, it would have been passed.
Oh, who told
The
you
government
that?
would have paid
that is
$13 million. Yes.
That is speculation. How do you know that it has been passed?
No. So no, if you're talking about corruption, these are the things. Just recently, there was
and how much did we lose? No monies were paid. The taxpayers' money was not lost in all this process.
KOBBY, go ahead. He's muted. KOBBY, it's your
but
go ahead.
If you intend to steal, and because you got caught, the deal didn't go through, that doesn't mean you are not a thief. You're still a thief. Okay? Because if you hadn't been caught, you'd have stolen what you had intended to steal. Okay? All these things are there, glaring to see. Look at the Kroll deal with this Ajapa deal. Okay, now we all thought that Osafo Mafu had paid $1 million, but today it came out that it was a total of 8.6 million Ghana cedis that was paid for no work done. You see, so when we talk about corruption, you guys carry the helmet. Okay, you guys have it, because as you guys accuse John Mahama and his government of thievery, corruption, this, that, you've had 4 years to put somebody in jail. You never did. The Abu Gapele deal, yes, I know Abu Gapele personally, and his partner, Philip Asibit Akpana, both of them are in jail now. The Mahama administration started investigating them before you guys finally finished it, because there wasn't time enough. But it was started by Mahama administration, just like Ativo was caught with the boss branded thing. John Mahama told her, put down your resignation, and she resigned. Just like Vicky Mahama, who was caught talking to somebody about making $1 million. When John Mahama heard it, he said, "My sister, this is it. You don't make money out of your ministry. Get out." She was kicked out. So you can see that somebody was doing something. Okay, our president is a clearing agent. Whenever something happens, whenever something happens, this man will clear them. Okay, I'm just going to cite you just a small example. Remember when those thugs attacked the judge in her courtroom in Kumasi? What happened? When the president was asked about it and what he was doing about it, he said the kids have been remorseful. And people who had gone to court to attack a judge were all fined 1,500 cedis each and let go. Okay, are you fighting corruption? Are you fighting this hooliganism in the country? Did you see what happened at Ayawasu West Wagon? Where hoodlums were unleashed on innocent voters.
We'll come to that. That is on national security. We want to talk about national security. Who can we trust when it comes to national security? John Mahama or His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, the current president?
Aliko,
yes.
Aliko, what is happening now is something that has never happened in the country.
Okay,
during the military.
Yes, we'll come to that. We'll come to national security, but you mentioned a couple of things. Daniel, I think what is interesting is that one interesting thing, let me put it that way, that I picked from what you said and what he just said, is that it looks like you agree that some prosecutions started with the John Mahama administration with regards to corruption. And so people within the John Mahama administration, he as a president accepted or allowed that these individuals be prosecuted, even though they belong to his government. Versus that initiation as a leader, that leadership skill. Do you think that Nana Akufo-Addo has been able to show that type of leadership during his 4 years so far?
Yes, Alinko, and this is where I always tell you that if you mix up the issues, NDC will just confuse everybody. Yes, some of those things that started under John Mahama, I mean, were cry from what we call civil society organizations, and even from the opposition, about the need to take these people through, because it was so glaring. The evidence was so glaring that, I mean, it would be unconscionable to allow those people to go with their loot.
Right.
And it wasn't just happening in one institution; it was happening across many other institutions.
Across the nation.
And so you needed to start something to put the fear of the state in people to realize that public service is public service. Yes. Public service is not meant to
but what we are
loot state funds
in
the manner who saw it under John Mahama.
I know what I'm saying, Daniel. Is the president...
I'm coming. I get your question.
Okay.
Under those very persons that were investigated, it had to take the state institution. John Mahama didn't go out there, personally investigating them. It is the state institution that we have established, the police, the CID, the security people. And you can't go to court without evidence. In the case of the NDC and Akufo-Addo, when they had raised this allegation, these same state institutions had gone in there and found out that these guys were just exaggerating and raising smoke, screen. The evidence to support what they were saying is not exactly what they are telling us. But for propaganda's sake and for political equalization's sake, the NDC created this impression that, and we didn't even lose money. It's not as if they lost money. You remember him saying that, if you were to do something and we catch you and you don't do it, that means if you go to court, is that how you go and prosecute that? He was in the process of doing it. You don't have the evidence to show that the person lost money, nothing to show. You go to the judges and tell, he was in the process and we caught him and we believe that he was going to do it. Is that how the court system works? Is that how prosecution works when you have a criminal case? Is that when you go to court and tell a judge?
Because of time, you were saying that this president has equally and freely facilitated the prosecution of his own people that have been caught or that have been alleged to have been involved in corruption deals. Are you saying that?
He has asked the security agency, the same security agency that investigated the ones on the NDC, to investigate these people, and if they find any culpable facts, they should proceed and do what they know how to do best.
So we haven't heard of this publicly. Did he make this public announcement? This public?
Yes, it's always been made public. The NDC knows that, but they come out and they say that the president directives doesn't work because he's clearing them. The president cannot clear anybody. If there's crime, that crime can outlive the president. If the president is not there tomorrow and another government comes, if it is a crime and the documents are there, it should take any government to still take those cases and go to court. But there will be none like that because it's talk, no facts to back anything.
Okay, good, Daniel. So if the president, gives or makes room or creates the environment so that people who have been indulged in corrupt acts will be prosecuted. In this case, when Martin Amidu was in his post, did he take on any of these people?
Good question. So what happened was that there have been instances of corruption that has been directed to the office of the special prosecutor that, as we speak, Martin Amidu has not investigated any of them and sent anybody to court.
Okay.
That is one of the problems that we have with him, because there be so many evidence that has been provided to his office that he hasn't taken action on. The recent issue that he came to describe the president as the same part of murder corruption was not even an investigation. It was a risk assessment he was making on an issue, and a deal that has gone through parliament that is even yet to be actualized. The deal has not even been actualized, and yet our NDC folks are shouting as if the state has lost money.
Okay. All right. So there's a question here for you. Asunaba says we should ask if who has investigated the cash for seat issues and who cleared them from wrongdoing.
So the NDC made the allegation that if people want access to the president, they had to pay bribe to the chief of staff.
No, it was not the NDC. It was Kennedy Oyini Ejepong, your own firebrand. He was the one who brought it out, and he mentioned names.
Granted. Granted.
No. You see how these people can twist things.
No, Kobby,
NDC didn't start it.
Kobby, I want you to make your point, regardless of what is twisted.
Okay. No. I'm disputing what he just said.
Okay.
The issue was not brought out by the NDC. It was by Oyine Kennedy, Oyine Japan. Admit it, Daniel. You are a nice young man. You are admitted.
Okay. So Daniel, he's saying that Kennedy Japan, it was Kennedy who brought it. Not
Let's grant that is factually accurate. I'm not sure because I heard the NDC. Let's grant it. I'm not going to argue about that. It doesn't matter who brought up the issue. But
wait. No, let's let it go on record, Daniel, that you are saying that you are not sure who brought it.
I know the NDC raised it. Yes, so that's fair. Let's go on. If it's correcting me on that, I'm not going to argue on that. It's minor to the main issue that I want to raise on that. The other allegation was made, regardless of who made it. The other allegation was made.
Okay.
And by the NDC standard, they think that once you make an allegation, that suffices as fact. The fact that somebody said something means that okay, it must be true that they are saying it. And the president asked this same security agency to investigate and to come up with the issue. They investigated the issue and it turned out that, it wasn't the case. The security agency did not find any evidence to prosecute anything. In that case, how do you expect the state agencies to work? And if they investigate you and they send a report to the president, they don't find anything, the president cannot go and conjecture evidence and take you to court. The evidence has to speak for itself. The security agencies or the institutions have to generate this evidence to be able to go to court. In court, you don't go and play political tricks or political noise. You have to go with facts and evidence.
Okay, good.
And that is the thing that the NDC don't get. If there's no evidence to what they say, they still continue to hold on to it and say, oh, the president is clearing people. President cannot clear anybody. The facts have to clear you.
Okay, good point. Kobby, go ahead.
But somebody has to take it to court, right? Somebody has to take it to court for the case to be prosecuted.
How can you go to court without facts?
Daniel, I don't think that you can say that anybody can go to court without fact. They are saying whoever brought it.
You see, that's the arrogance of some of the people, but that is fine.
Whether it's Kennedy Japan who said it or the NDC, whatever, but let's say there's some fact that has to be established or authenticated through the courts. And if one party is saying we have some facts, wherever it came from, we want to go to court. So I think that's what Kobby is saying. So you can say that they are going to court without fact. They are saying we want to go. There's facts and want to go to court with it. And so Kobby, go ahead and finish your point.
Facts. I will tell you who has the facts. Your own man, Kennedy Japan, because the day he declared, the day he made that pronouncement, he had documents to support it. Okay, he has documents of which he was flaunting all over the place on TV that these are the facts. Not only that, just recently there was an American guy who had wanted to set up a factory in Yendi, in the north, and he was just pulled left and right for bribe. That is, of course, not be substantiated. But he also talked about how many investors had left the country because everybody wants money. And he agreed that on this particular day, when people were asked to pay money to sit next to the president, he was asked and he refused. That's why he packed his bags left at crap. Okay, it's not it. When everybody is talking about it and your own spokesperson, your own firebrand, the guy who will do a job for you, himself is saying it, it's true somewhere.
Okay, so Kobby,
don't twist the thing. Let's be fair. Okay, if the man is a human being.
Okay. I'm sorry, we're having that technical issue with Kobby. We will probably try and get him on. This is the Progressive Mind Show, a special edition on the upcoming election, the Ghana upcoming elections, which is just tomorrow. A few hours, Ghana would be going to the ballot. Pray for Ghana for a peaceful election. We are talking about, basically we are discussing who to trust. NA, which is President Nana Akufo-Addo, or JM, John Mahama, to be the next leader for the country, Ghana. And we have talked about who has done well when it comes to economic development. There's some of the infrastructures that have been built. We are talking about leadership, and the leadership we are dealing with corruption and some of the issues that has come up. And we'll be talking about national security shortly before we end the program. It's 8 minutes past 8 p.m. here in the city of Chicago, and we are glad that you are still with us. Today, of course, is December 6th, and we are doing this special edition in preparation for the elections coming up tomorrow. If you just joined us, please help share the feed on Facebook and on YouTube as well. So far, we are grateful for all of you who have chimed and contributed. If you want to ask a question or call, we know time has been far spent. The number is 815 277 5047. 815 277 5047. You can call and make your contribution to the show. I'm joined this evening by Daniel AMPONSAH and KOBBY BOAHENE, if I pronounce it correctly. So, gentlemen, let's try and see if we can, summarize when it comes to corruption. Some of these topics, when we start talking about them, there's so much we can't divulge everything, but we try to touch on what we can. Would you say, and I'll go to Daniel, under the current president, His Excellency President Akufo-Addo versus John Mahama, who do you think has had more corrupt cases or allegations under his tenure? Daniel. 2 minutes.
Yeah, so like I said, I mean, making allegations is the easiest thing, right? I mean, proving it is another thing in court. And so the NDC have raised some allegations about, they just mentioned this KNLV thing that he raised. There's no evidence of any money being lost. Somebody disagree with an arrangement and then just go out there and start shouting corruption. The fact that you disagree with an arrangement and you don't agree the complexities of it does not mean that it's corruption. You might not know what the details of those issues are, like the PDS. PDS was, a private initiative that the government was taking to allow private sector participation in an electricity company. And the guy was supposed to provide a bond. They couldn't provide that bond. It ended up that when they had gotten the insurance company to, attest that they had the bond, it wasn't there. The government canceled the deal. And then before that, the private company was engaged in collecting some revenues because they were under contract obligation to do that. And then the government had to terminate the contract. Then the NDC folks get up and say, oh, it's corruption, because what is corruption? Under the contract, the guy was obliged to collect those funds and he was operating. So how do you classify that as corruption?
Daniel, interesting you mentioned that, because we also heard some audios. We heard Gabby and the president's brother discussing basically how they were going to share the money. So they were talking about, the guy was talking about taking some 40%, and Gabby was negotiating with him if he could come down on the 40%. And we heard the president brother on audio saying, okay, we'll talk to the other guys and come back to you. So now if you hear Gabby, who is not an elected government official, right? And the president brother with a third party who are talking about the PDS deal you are talking about, and how some monies have to exchange hands, and it sounded like they were negotiating and bargaining. Do you think that is in the right? Do you think that is okay? I mean, what do you say to that? Based
on this
PDS deal. Yeah.
Yes, the PDS deal. So this is the point that I keep raising to you. You heard somebody talking about something on the phone, 40, 30%. I'm not even sure how quick that tape can be authenticated. Let's grant that happened on the phone. How can you link, when you go to court, how can you link that directly to the PDS? If the government really wanted to do something fishy, do you think that government will go ahead and cancel the contract? Because the government, like you are saying, Gabby had interest there. And if the government really wanted to give it to Gabby or give it to anybody, why would that same government say that the particular PDS company did not meet all the requirements of the law that allows them to be able to take over this company, and go ahead and cancel it, even at the, resistance of the US government? Why would the government take that risk?
No, I think the US government actually recommended that the deal should be canceled.
No, they did not. They wanted it to go on because the company that was coming to partake in the private sector was one of the US companies that was involved. So they had interest that the US company would get into our energy sector. So they were insisting that the government go on with the agreement. The government said, no, we can't give you a strategic asset like this without a bond to support it. And the government had to cancel it. If this was a government that really wanted to steal money or was interested in Gabi getting 40%, why would the government do that even at the resistance of the US government? And this is the NDC for you. They create all these, noise around things and then get it out of context and then go out there and say it's corruption. And I ask them, how much money did we lose? The government canceled it.
Okay, so in your case, would you? I guess if you can answer my question directly, under Akufo-Addo versus John Mahama, who has had more corruption cases or issues come up under their tenure?
Well, I would say that very already. I mean, in this election, you see that corruption did not come up. How come? Because they don't have the evidence to support that corruption.
No, 4 years ago versus 4 years now. 4 years before 2016. And then 4 years after 2016.
We lost a lot of money under Mahama, taxpayer money that we haven't retrieved up to now.
I'm talking about issues of corruption. Who has had more cases come up under their tenure?
Mahama, and we lost money. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's an allegation. We actually lost money.
Okay, so good. Thank you. I just wanted a straight answer to that. Thank you so much. Kobby, I know you've been waiting to respond. Please go ahead and I'll ask you the same question.
Well, first and foremost, I just want to ask Daniel about this PDS issue. Yes, for the first time, for once, I agree with you. The Americans wanted it to go on. Why? Until the thing was finally found out that the bonds were not there. The financing for the thing was not there, and they took it. But I will tell you for sure that there was an ulterior motive. You're talking about some money, some revenues was collected. Was it paid back into the government coffers? Or still, we are looking for the people who collected the money to come and pay? We know some people stole money out of this PDS issue. Who were the people responsible for the PDS? Was Bumpty Akufo-Addo, Nanado's brother, involved? Was he among? Was candidate Gabi Ochiridaku in there too? Who are the people? Who were these PDS people? Okay, you refuse to mention them because you know they are family and friends of the president. And up till now, the revenue that was collected has not been given back. Okay,
can I do something just to give you information?
Let him finish.
Oh, I just wanted to give you information.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead quickly.
So, this is why I say the NDC sometimes I get worried when they say this thing. When you're running a business, they say revenue was generated. At the time that revenue was generated, you think that the company didn't incur cost, they didn't employ people. So you are talking about revenue. Talk about the net, what profit was made. That is what you really need to talk about. Just say revenue. It's so simplistic. They didn't incur cost in generating those revenue. They didn't run an operation. They didn't employ anybody. And you think that if you go to court, the court will say that work that was done was zero. Those people don't need to be paid. No court will do that.
Oh my God! See, this is why this government cannot be trusted, because everything is justified by them. That is the sad part. Money was stolen from the government because of all these electricity tariffs that was collected and still not accounted for. And you are telling me about there was generating costs. How much generating costs as opposed to revenue that came in? Okay, so until you can produce the document to show me you spent $10 and collected $5, so the government owe you money, I will say you still collected Ghana money that you haven't paid yet. So don't bring me documents that you cannot substantiate. Money was stolen, period. You know that. Okay? Electricity tariff was collected for between 8 months to a year. Okay? And up till now, nobody knows where the money comes from. And who were the responsible people? Who were the people, the actual people behind the PDS? Was Bumpty Akufo-Addo, President Akufo-Addo's brother, involved? Well, the report says he was. Okay, so these are some of the things that we can never agree on, because everything they prefer to ridicule the opponent and justify everything they do, even though you know and I know that things the things that we are talking about are not true.
Okay, Kobby, good. Let's look at this real quick. In terms of leadership, again, looking at leadership, Muhammad's tenure and His Excellency President Kufuor's regime, which of these presidents have had more of their family members and friends in government, which has raised issues of nepotism and connected it to corruption? Again, the current president versus the ex-president Muhammad. Daniel.
Yeah, Alinko. So the issue of nepotism, yes, was used against the NDC government, and for the obvious reasons about this corruption issue that I just spoke about.
Right.
And let me give you another background. So there's this NDC kingpin, or one of the very respected legislature. I think it's the longest serving legislature in our parliament. It's called Alban Bagbin. It comes from the Nabuli constituency.
Yes.
So in the NDC government, and this is I'm just giving you a gist about the background of the NDC internal politics that raised that issue. In the NDC politics, when Joe Mama won the 2012 election, right? Joe Mama started bringing in his friends from outside the NDC party and left the NDC old guard that had been fighting or been in the party for a long time. So the appointment were going to this John Mahama's friends, and this NDC campaign said that John Mahama has been so unfair to them. Even though the old guys in the party don't have access to the president, it's the president's friends that have access and are doing. The appointment were going to this John Mahama's friends, and I think there's a feedback. There's a feedback loop. John Mahama has been so unfair to them. I know. I think there's a feedback loop.
Yes, I know.
I think there's.
Yeah, I think it's coming from your end. So if you can check that for us, maybe your phone or something that you have is on.
I think, yeah, sorry about that. So Alinko, the issue was that these guys that John Mahama brought on were people that were not known to the NDC traditionally. And maybe John Mahama did that for good reasons, for all you know. But then in the internal politics of the NDC, they were accusing John Mahama of bringing in friends. And so it was this man that first used the term Mahama's government is friends and family.
Okay.
To signal his displeasure about the fact that when Mahama won the election, he's not using the old guards in the NDC, but he's using his friends to run the government, and they are creating problems for the government.
Okay.
And that was how we championed on that and said family and friends, and we added that to the corruption tag. Okay. And it really was the case that these people were causing mess for the government, and the Ghanaian people believed it and they saw it.
Okay.
So we used that against Mahama. We campaigned against him, and the Ghanaian people said, "Yeah, you are right. We can also see it happening." And we think that there's evidence to it. And in 2016, the verdict was made. They rejected Mahama outright based on all these things that we said.
Right.
Fast forward to Akufo-Addo. Remember, I told you that in the NDC family and friends, these guys were not in the trenches to help the NDC win power. They came in after they had won power. In the MPP, all the people that the NDC says this Akufo-Addo's family or friends, those people, they are our party members. They were with us in the trenches when we were campaigning. They hold party cards. They belong to the party, just like Akufo-Addo is a member of the party. Some of them are parliamentarians that have won their seats and are in parliament. And so with the MPP, we have not complained that Akufo-Addo is giving those people position, because we know that they were part of us when we were campaigning. So you are telling me today that because Akufo-Addo is the president and his brother campaigned and is a member of the party and is competent to occupy a position, because Akufo-Addo is president, he should deny any opposition? Is that the logic that the NDC wanted to sell? Because you had your own internal issues about family and friends and your own political people were using it against you. We don't have that same problem. And these guys are competent, they are doing the job, and they are really good asset to us. And the expertise is for us as the MPP party. We are glad that we have them in our party, and we have not complained that Akufo-Addo has given them opportunity. And to add to that, the percentage of the people that these NDC people mentioned, some are distant relatives. It's not as if there is a nuclear family thing. How many of them, in comparison to all the appointments that Akufo-Addo have made, will you say that, it's so big a number that, it's nepotism?
Okay,
less
good.
than 1% of the appointments.
Great. Two quick questions. What is the criteria, or is a participation? It's participating in the campaign process for your party a criteria for you gaining a ministerial post in the NPP party?
Yes, you have to be part of the party in opposition to do the work.
Okay, so if you don't do the work and you are qualified, regardless of where you belong, you will not get a post. You will not get a ministerial position. If you're not,
this party politics in Ghana, it's the party that wins the election. That's what we call it, winner takes all.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, okay, from your end, the tradition is that if you belong to the party and you campaigned, once the party comes to power, you qualify, you would get a position.
Yeah, if the president, position is not automatic. You have to find favor with the president. It's not
and then you are saying emphatically. So can you tell me how many people or how many relatives that and friends that John Mahama had in his government?
Oh, Bagbin, at the time that Bagbin was complaining, I can mention some few people that Let me mention some. There was this guys that came into even the NDC current running mate.
Actually, just give me a number. Just give me a number.
Oh,
just give me a number.
It's many people. Government appointees is about 2,000 people. Government appoint about 2,000 people. I can't see it, but it's at the top of
the ministerial. Like so, right now we have 120 something ministers, right, for the incumbent.
Right.
Under John Mahama's tenure, we had about 54 thereabout.
80 something.
Kobby, what was the number?
83.
83. Okay, great. 83 versus 102. So what we are saying is that, and even the 83 was thought to be too many, right? I think it was.
It wasn't thought to be many.
We didn't campaign on that. About that number.
They championed the talk that NDC had a balloon administration, 86 ministers. If I'm lying,
we didn't campaign on that. That wasn't part of our campaign.
Okay,
but you never uttered such a word.
Kobby, go ahead.
You never uttered it. You campaigned on the fact that NDC had 86 ministers, and that was too much. Okay, and let me come back to what you're talking about. Back being said, I have been with NDC for as long as God knows how long. Okay, and what you are saying right now to me, excuse me, is non-factual. Absolutely, and I don't mean to disrespect you, but it was I would say it's hogwash. Definitely, it is not true that John Mahama went and brought anybody. That's why we were asked to name some people. I can only tell you the only relative of John Mahama who was in his administration was Joyce Ballaot, who was a deputy minister. Okay, so when you are sitting here and telling me that no, you are basing your facts on nothing but just hogwash.
Tell us, Kobby, who had more family?
Oh, definitely. I mean, this is not even a question that needs to be answered. No, it is.
The reason why we are emphatic is that there are a lot of people who are just now following this because Ghana is going to vote tomorrow. So we'll be able to get to some factual issues, right? Okay. Some hardcore truth out there or some hardcore issues out there. So I want you to be specific.
Definitely Akufo-Addo.
Okay.
Definitely Akufo-Addo.
Okay.
Definitely Akufo-Addo.
Why?
Why? I think that's a question for Daniel to answer. Because to me, when something like this happens within a government, it breeds corruption. Okay, no wonder corruption has been the talk of the day in this administration.
How many people can you name that belongs to the president of the president's family and friends?
What's her name? Gloria Kufu is related to him from the Akwapin side. The Chief Justice is related to him. Kanuforiata is related to him. What's his name?
Okay, whilst we are trying to get
No. You see, I would have listed all that. He has
how many?
More than 80 family members.
80. You were saying 80.
I'm telling you.
Daniel, how many do you say were the family and friends that were in the John Mahama government?
I think that the friends were more than 20 as far as I know.
Okay, so family.
The friends
Can you name any of them?
Yes.
So family.
I can name them. I mean, Atiguba is the Malo. Ben Dochimalo was not part of the NDC when you guys were campaigning. Ben Dochimalo.
So wait. Ben Dochimalo is a friend or a family member of John Mahama?
No, friend. We are talking about family and friends. So you want me to? I'm giving family and friends. I'm not giving you proportion that they were just. It's even one family member, and there's so many friends.
Daniel, please be serious. Please be serious.
I'm serious.
Please be serious.
Family and friends. I don't need to define them.
You're talking Are you talking about Stephen Atubuga? Are you talking about Stephen Atubuga? Are you talking about Stephen Atubuga?
Atubuga was there. I mean, like.
Atubuga was an NDC USA member. He was an NDC USA member before he moved to Ghana. So he wasn't like John Mahama.
Atubuga is in Lagos. He was a lecturer.
Okay. Now when you that's why I asked Stephen. I asked if it's Stephen Atubuga.
No, not Stephen. Not Stephen is an NDC member. Not he is just a small person in the NDC.
Okay,
I'm talking about the renowned lawyer.
So we've done well. At least we have touched on that fact, family and friends in each government. You were saying that KOBBY, according to KOBBY, Nana Akufo-Addo has more, and you said about 83. And then
no, that is not correct. How come 83 in this government? Come on, that cannot be correct. Just about 10 people that you mentioned.
If we are talking about family, it's the nuclear thing.
Okay.
How many people does Baumia have? How many people does the first lady have? I mean, it's a whole nuclear family thing.
We are not complaining, no. It is the NDC which is complaining because we know that these people are part of us.
We are complaining because you complained. You started the whole argument.
Right.
And we are trying to prove you wrong.
You are crying about something we are not complaining about.
We are not crying about it. But you see, such a deal breeds nepotism. Breeds corruption. Breeds thievery.
Right, guys.
You see, that's why every concerned Ghanaian should be worried about the fact that you have so many family members.
Guys, last point, national security. Who should we trust? Who can we trust to lead Ghana safely when it comes to national security? Maybe this time I'll start with KOBBY. KOBBY, between John Mahama and Nana Akufo-Addo, who can we trust? I'll give you 3 minutes because of time.
Absolutely, John Mahama.
And why?
Absolutely, John Mahama. Because in the last 4 years, the insecurity that we found ourselves in the country is overwhelming. Okay? You go to...
KOBBY, I need you to sit up if you can, please. So I can... There you
go. You go to how many people have been recruited into the national security without going through the proper training? Do you remember that guy? What's his name? The guy who slapped Sam George. What's his name? Pocket or something at Ayawasu West Wagon.
Yeah, I don't know his name, but it was on video.
Yes. Now, when they asked him how long had it been, how long a training did he go through before he became a national security operative? What did he tell us? 3 weeks. And before then, he was selling watches at phones at Circle. Okay, and these are the people that they've brought them into the system where they can come in and cause all kind of problems for the country. These soldiers, these party members who went to the court to nearly beat up on the judge, have all been in the national security system. These are not trained individuals. When the Ayawasu West Wagon thing happened, the police officer in charge, when asked who were the guys, he told he doesn't know any of them. Okay, so these are people that the government had dressed up put some national security tax on them to come and cause mayhem. Okay, since when you think, apart from the military times, have we had people killed because they revealing things about the government? We saw it happen to Ahmed Swale. Manasseh Azure had to run away to South Africa because he had brought out some issues and they were looking for him to kill him. Okay, so definitely, I mean, the insecurity within this administration, you can't even talk. Okay, if you come out and criticize, they are after you. There's a guy on Bania at I think Power FM. He has been criticizing the government, and he was nearly killed not too long ago. Okay, somebody pulled up to his guy. Are you on Bania from Power FM? He said yes. Oh, so you are the guy who has been talking nonsense. And they pulled a gun on him. He had to drive away. That was like around, to him, from what he told us, that was around Abeka, the musician's place, Amachi place. Okay, and I think had it not been the crowd that were there, they would have shot and killed him. We've seen too many chaos within this past 4 years that seriously, if we give these people another 4 years, you and I cannot go to Ghana.
Okay,
I'm telling you the truth.
Daniel, your turn. Yeah, he had 4 minutes. So 4 minutes. Who is better to lead the nation Ghana for the next 4 years when it comes to national security?
Alinko, national security should not be limited to just security forces doing their work. When we talk about national security, it goes beyond that. Even the way you construct your routes is a national security issue. Do you know that? Economic security. If your people
that
are
was not what he was talking about.
You see, we are trying to provide education here. You see, this is.
Let him finish, Kobby.
Yeah. We are trying to provide. You see, when these are people, they only concentrate on a few, things that are so like easy to identify with, and they run with it. It's unfortunate if anybody is killed, and we can't find the perpetrators. No government wants that to happen, especially if it is a journalist. It dents your image. It's not good for any government, and especially a government like the MPP. That is not something we want to see, because we have championed this democracy to a large extent by believing that people need to speak up their minds. So the journalists, this is not the first time a journalist has been killed in our country. We've had instances like that, and we don't want to go back to those past. It's very unfortunate. But
can you mention one journalist that had been killed before?
Oh, under the NDC?
Yeah.
Alinko, maybe you don't know our history.
No.
The NDC era.
Daniel, we're doing JM versus.
No, Alinko, I'm not. This is not personal to you. I'm
just saying between JM and Nanado. So we're comparing both governments, right? And so during JM's government, did you hear any journalist that was killed?
Not at the top of my mind, but I know journalists were attacked. And it's not, these attacks are not orchestrated by government too.
Okay.
Even under JM, you can't say it was JM who orchestrated them.
Okay. So is the journalist who was killed during Nana Akufo-Addo's term, has the matter been investigated, or is it under
investigation? The security agencies will always get to these issues and try to deal with them. But in Ghana, when these things happen, it's difficult to get the culprit. Let me give you an instance. There was a soldier that is called Adams Mahama.
Wait, somebody came out to claim that he was the one that actually killed. No, actually, that was JB Dampa. So it's not a journalist.
Right. So people will say stuff, but the security agencies, it's not everything that everybody says that is accurate, right? People who have their own mind about stuff. That is fine. You can't control that.
Daniel,
I'm saying,
straight to the point. Do you think that under Akufo-Addo there's been less corrupt cases than JM?
We're talking about national security here.
I'm sorry. National. Go ahead.
So, like I'm telling you, that national security, to be very honest with you, under both government, I think relatively we've been able to handle our country's national security really well, because all the things that happen across in our neighbors doesn't really happen in Ghana.
Right.
I told you about the terrorism that happened in our neighbors. Under both government, they've been able to secure our borders relatively well, and we don't see such things happening. Internal security under Akufo-Addo, we've resourced our internal security. We've provided modern vehicles Today, as I speak to you, as part of our national security strategy, we've had a single number, which we call 112, that connects the fire service, the police, and the ambulance system in our country. We've provided 300 ambulances. These are all national security issues. It's not just about police people being out there and showing off. How you respond to emergency is part of national security. So don't limit it to just a little few items here and there. And that is the thing I was trying to point to you, Alinko. Even food security is part of a national security issue. You have to have food buffer to be able to respond to emergency and crisis. And Akufo-Addo, we are planting for food and job. We are providing warehouses to store food, so that when we run into a crisis like a pandemic, we can feed our people.
That's true.
That is also a national security issue.
Good, Daniel. That's very good. One will also feel that, Kobby, before I let you respond, one would also feel that in the same vein as the president or the government is trying to provide national security in that same context, we had the girls who were killed at Takoradi, girls who were missing. Now, one will say that if that issue, I don't know if it's being finalized, if it's being investigated, and the perpetrators have been caught. We don't know. We also know that in the same year or the same time during Akufo-Addo's governance, the Canadian girls came. They were kidnapped, but within 48 hours they were released. We had Ghanaian citizens who were missing, who have been missing for days, and the perpetrators have not been caught.
Years, not days, years.
All right, years.
That is factually accurate. We've had that is factually accurate. We've had instances where these Takoradi girls were killed. Very unfortunate.
Yeah.
And the security said the investigator, they said they had the forensic. The family didn't believe them. They've been killed. We can't find them up to date.
So then why don't you tell the parents, so at least then they can rescue that their kids have been. No. Up till now, you guys have not been able to tell the whereabouts of the kids. And as a matter of fact, it's on record that the former CID boss Tiwa told them they knew where the kids were.
That is true, but later
am I lying? They never told them. They said they found some bones. They found some bones. When DNA was done, they were not the kids. Nobody has come out to say emphatically that the kids are dead. If the government, if your Nana Akufo-Addo can come up, or the chief of police can come up and tell the parents that these kids that were kidnapped are dead, then at least they will rest easy. Because I remember not too long ago, one of the girls' parents crying like crazy that if they know that the kids are dead, they should tell them. Okay? But it's so hard for them to believe the kids are somewhere being maltreated or being tortured or being whatever to them, and they don't know. And the government claims they know where they are.
Right. Okay. Yeah, Kobby. So you want to respond to that quickly, and then also let us help. What is going on with the Zongo 7? We also know that some 7 people were killed, and in Zongo, and how has the government responded to this? I mean, all these things constitute national security, right? And so it's fair to talk about.
Yeah, Alinko, like I said, there've been pockets of these issues that have happened with, citizens, having, even police themselves on duty, having mistakenly shot people and thought that they were armed robbers, and government goes in and investigate and finds out that no, the basis from which you said is where armed robbers, there was no basis, and government provides compensation to the families. These are incidents that happen through police operations, right? It's not something you can pinpoint to a government policy to try and kill people. And like I said, we are not going to sit here and deny that. These kids were not kidnapped, and this unfortunate issue has not happened to them. Those are all instances that speaks to, why we need to support the police, why we need not to always bastardize them and politicize them, because the work that they do is difficult. The police need intelligence to be able to operate. And that is how come this time around, like I told you, we are resourcing them. We are providing cameras across all the country. We are buying about 8,000 cameras and putting them in strategic locations, because the police work on intelligence. They need to gather information to be able to act. So we are responding to all these issues, said that is why I told you we are building a digital economy, an economy that is data-driven. And as I speak to you, we are mounting these security cameras across strategic areas in the country and in strategic installation so that we can monitor and see on real-time basis what people are doing and be able to respond and not be doing the old century staff policing.
In your case, in your opinion, you think that this current government have handled national security very well? And in terms of the Takrady girls, the Zongo 7, even the soldier that was recently assaulted by some of the vigilante, so-called vigilante or national security guys, do you think that His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo with his government have handled these national security issues very well, in your opinion?
The issues that you raise, of course, those are negatives, right? Those are negatives. But in the larger scheme of things, the positives and the way government has handled this country clearly tells you that Ghana is not an insecure country. So the fact that you have 1 or 2 negatives doesn't mean that, government has not done well in other areas. And these are things that we acknowledge we need to improve.
Daniel, don't run away from the question.
Okay, Kobby.
He asked you some specific questions. Let's stick to that.
But I answered him.
Are you satisfied with the answer he gave you?
I'm not satisfied. And that is not a government deliberate policy to create those infliction on people.
So he's saying that,
well, how long do we have? Because I have another thing coming up.
No,
so we've been on. Yeah,
we're closing. Just wrap up for us. To you, in your opinion, who has done more? John Mahama's government and this one, who has handled national security better, and who can we trust? Who can we trust going into tomorrow to handle national security for us?
Oh, are you talking to me?
Yes, Kobby.
Oh, okay. The evidence is clear.
Okay,
it's there. Who promised and delivered, and who promised and deceived you? Okay, it's no wonder that everywhere John Mahama goes these days, he's mobbed. I was surprised to see a video of him in Kumasi Swami or wherever it is, mobbed like unbelievable. I just couldn't believe that was Ashanti region. Okay, because people are fed up. Okay. People are fed up with this current administration. I am telling you, if you are going to vote tomorrow, I want you to sit down quietly and close your eyes and ask yourself, how well was I doing in 2016 as opposed to 2020?
Right. Okay.
Okay. Did the spare parts, the free duty on spare parts that was promised us, was it delivered? Mm-hmm. If you are a Kaya, you ask yourself, have they built the hostel that the government promised you, where these poor girls had to donate to Akufo-Addo's campaign because Akufo-Addo had promised them a hostel? If you are a Kaya, you sit down and think and ask yourself, do I have it? If you are a healthcare worker, and I'm telling you this for sure, I know some healthcare workers work for the Ministry of Health at some polyclinics in Accra who haven't been paid since February.
What? No.
I am telling you, Daniel, take my number later on from Alinko, call me, and I'll give you names so that maybe you can help them get their salaries.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All the promises, if you're a Galamsey person, think about the promise that was made to you that, discount to me bottom to wait, I'm going to even make Galamsey better so you can have money in your pocket. Is that what is happening now? If you are an excavator owner, think back and ask yourself, the 585 excavators that were seized and has disappeared, is that what the president promised us? Think about all these things. If you are a God is microfinance company. God is King, where President Akufo-Addo promised that the first thing he will do when he comes to office will be to make sure they get their money back. If you've gotten it back, good for you. If you haven't gotten it back, sit back and think about it. Okay? If you are somebody who loves your country, corruption 2016, corruption 2020, wait and see who has done better.
Okay, I think on that note, we'll take Daniel's close. Kobby,
let me wish Daniel good luck tomorrow.
We are winning.
I know tomorrow you are going to call me with tears in your eyes that I have beaten you, and I'll console you with a bottle of Calipo, and we'll move the country forward. That is, as a matter of fact, that is all that we are striving for.
Right.
We are not enemies.
Right.
We are all pushing so the country will get to the place where it's supposed to get. The only thing is, I have better ideas. And unfortunately, you're still stuck with your outmoded ideas. But it's all good. So I want to wish you and your listeners and all the NPP guys and Daniel especially a Merry Christmas. And 2017 January, I hope to see you there at the swearing in of John Mahama. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
You're welcome.
Your mama was not president.
I know, Daniel. I know time has been fast spent. So quickly, in a nutshell, just wrap it up for us.
Oh, did I say 2017? I said 2021. I'm sorry.
Aliko, I think that we've performed relatively well. We haven't fulfilled all our promises, but we've shown good effort. We've shown determination. We've shown the determination to do well for our country, and we've shown the capacity to be able to deliver within this short period, given the enormous challenges that we faced. So I believe that we are on course to win this election. The Ghanaian people will assess all these issues that we've put before them. They will make an assessment, they will vote, and I'm very confident that the MPP is coming out as a winner in this election. And Alinko, hopefully we'll come back and discuss the election numbers and what that means. Exactly. And what the people in Ghana, really think about this. And like you said, we are all Ghanaians. Yeah. The NDC are Ghanaians, and we are Ghanaians. And if for anything at all, the NDC have ruled more than we have ruled. So we are not fighting. We just want the good for our country. And we believe that our political parties hold the best vehicle for the development of our country. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you to your listeners and your viewers out there for being following us as well.
Brother, it's been an honor. My brothers, I am so honored to have you on the bill today. Making time, almost 3 hours to talk about Mother Ghana. It tells you how much we care for our people, our country, and for democracy. And so I appreciate Daniel AMPONSAH, who is a communication team member for the NPP USA. NPP is New Patriotic Party, is the ruling party in Ghana now. And then representing the National Democratic Congress, NDC, the US branch, a former chairman for the U.S. National Democratic Party and Canada, KOBBY. He's a former chairman for the party here in the U.S. and Canada. We had Johnny Woods, who joined us last minute. He said, "One people, one Ghana." Thank you so much, Johnny Woods. And Victor Boafu says, "Well said, good point." And then Daniel Kuto says, "Why was the Auditor General forced to proceed on leave for so many days?" Well, Johnny, Daniel, we couldn't get time to respond to that. But to my audience, a great audience, I love you. I always appreciate your time and for committing your intelligence and your contribution and support to this cause. We know that you will continue the conversations in your home and keep praying for a peaceful elections tomorrow, and so that we can come back here and talk about how peaceful it was, how Ghana made history, or how Ghana is going to proceed into the future with great ideas and innovation. And I just want to thank my mom, my friends, and all loved ones who have been very supportive as well. Stephanie, thank you so much for your support. You're a good person, and I really appreciate you. Well, my brothers and sisters, Daniel and KOBBY, once again, good night. Thank you for being on the show. And to everyone, remember this has been the Progressive Mind Special Edition. This is where we build our community by engaging you and I in dialogue such as this. Remember, to whom much is given, much is required. Next week, coming Wednesday, we are talking about happenings in Africa. This is another very interesting one you don't want to miss. Stay blessed. God be with you tonight. Bye-bye, guys.
All right. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye-bye.